Okay.
La da 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 da. Is that the right key?
Not for your voice.
Da 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 da. Yeah, da 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 da. Okay, now you do the version with the jungle drums.
Oh, right. Sorry. I'm not going to do that part. I can follow that one, but I can't do it.
All right.
Fine.
Let us go to the webcam.
Webcam and see how far off we are.
A little bit.
They're a bit.
Only a little.
Yeah, not too bad.
Buenos dias,
Welcome,
amigos
welcome.
y amigas.
Yes, Flag Day, no King's Day,
It is Flag Day and it is No King's Day.
officially in America.
And I think it's some sort of. Is there another military anniversary day?
Well,
Anyway,
yeah, Army. It's the Army's birthday.
Army birthday, 250th anniversary of the U.S.
thrilling.
Army, but or something like that. But
welcome again to another live stream.
and here we are in
Semi-sunny.
sunny Southern California,
It's kind of semi-sunny here. We're
where the streets are aflame with IC and National Guards and protesters.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
Not that?
No. Hope everyone is well. Well, we're
Probably 'cause-
mostly well for a change. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting better.
Yeah, we can't. Yeah, we'll.
That's why I didn't bring any cough drops.
You didn't. Well, don't cough then. Don't blow your nose on screen. Things like that.
Oh no.
Just to.
That's okay. Nobody's watching us.
Hello all.
Except maybe OSU and Cromwell.
Yeah. Welcome to the stream where we will be playing Wages of War. Is there a No Kings event near you?
There was actually one yesterday when we came home from. We went to the county fair, and our way home we passed through a very peaceful and organized protest.
Protesting we're in Oceanside, i.e. San Diego County, and for
Which
some
is
reason,
just south of Los Angeles County.
Yes, for some reason we're protesting the ICE agents coming in and picking up people off the streets.
Yeah, and going through and mass arresting anyone who might be an immigrant.
And
then sorting it out afterwards.
sorting
Sometimes.
it out. Yes, sorting it out afterwards. So
Sometimes the citizens and the legal residents get returned home, but sometimes they don't.
needless to say, there are a fair amount of people in this region who might fit the profile of what's being picked up off the street. So, yes, I got a picture on our daughter-in-law sent us a picture of the mass number of people that are protesting in San Diego proper.
Yeah, here's
They can't
I don't know if
see
this will
that.
show
No,
it.
you're not going to see that. It's just a bunch of people. Anyway, you
lots
can
and
see
lots
it
of people in
where
San
you
Diego.
are.
The street is full of people.
There is if we were not doing a live stream, there was one that is
In
about
Carlsbad, which is the
10
next town
miles,
down.
10 miles from here, probably. And and there was also one supposedly right near us. So yes, countries with kings don't allow protests called No Kings. Yeah, well.
Well, there's a wannabe king in the U.S. that would like to not allow
Yes.
them, but
Rakesh cares more to live as a paladin than he cares to be a king, truly. And he made that choice because being a king kind of sucks.
and he kind of said his brother really should not be king.
Yes, his brother shouldn't. His brother's kind of a sucky king too. But, and our hero, our hero gets to be king or not.
On
He
the
can
other
be
hand-
paladin and walk away. I was just thinking.
You were just thinking?
I was thinking when I put on my T-shirt today, I almost put on the Quest for Glory 5 T-shirt, which would have been King's Crown if we had.
Yeah, I was going to say
continued
that was our working title was either Hero's Crown or King's Crown at different times, and then we settled on Dragonfire. But
And I thought, well, in an
I'm
alternate,
wearing the Hero U shirt
Yes.
myself with all
Yes.
the heroes.
in an alternate universe, what would have happened if Midas took over? And Midas's techniques were, quiet assassinations, of course, but also misinformation and lies and things like
Well,
that.
was Midas responsible for the tearing down of the obelisks, or was that
Yes, he
someone else?
was. He was doing
Should
that.
have so we only had one villain. Should have had two different villains
We
working cross purposes.
did. We did.
I don't know.
Bruno is a personal villain
Okay.
who was out to kill you. And yeah, we had multiple villains. We had a mad scientist who wanted to rule by science. So yeah, we had
Weird science.
we had 3 villains, but only one who would have been successful. Yeah. No, I wouldn't want to be a monarch. I would rather be a low-key aristocrat with all the privileges and none of the responsibility. Power to tell other people what to do is overrated. I agree with you, yes.
Well, the important power is to collect taxes from the...
Ah, there we go. The Netherlands has a king, and we are very much allowed to protest. You have a good royalty system, though.
And it's a good country.
Yeah, it's a good country. Does Ferrari count as a villain? Not
And the Netherlands has
Does he count as a villain?
Oh, Ferrari.
No, he's not really.
He is, in D&D terms, he would be chaotic neutral.
Yeah, well, he's evil. But, you know,
Right.
he's definitely on the evil side. But likewise, he counts as a ally and an antagonist for most of that game. So, therefore, not really a villain.
His villainous
He's bad.
tendencies.
He's evil. I mean, but, you know, that's okay. You
I
know?
mean, Han Solo in Star Wars is a scum and a
Chaotic neutral.
and a
best.
smuggler
Uh-huh.
and breaks the law constantly. But
And
when
shoots first.
And
Let's
shoots
get
first, yeah.
that point there.
I'm shot first,
Yep. But yeah. But you know.
but is very important to saving the rebellion. And of course, the entire theme of Star Wars is that you should be rebels. You should
Yes.
not be.
You should be rebelling against an unfair authority. Yes. Yeah. Ferrari is not moral, but not outright villainous. Not truly not in the course of the games. Let's put it this way. I see Ferrari as doing pretty nefarious things in the background, but he has not actually, in either of the games that he appears in, been the villain.
We've described a couple of PCs and NPCs as a neutral greedy,
Yeah.
and Ferrari is out for himself. But maybe all villains really are just out for themselves, and then stop caring about what it does to anyone else, and then they become villains.
Yes, that's when they cross the line. So yes, and in effect, even though Hans shot first, it was in self-defense. He knew he was going to get shot or taken, so it was self-defense. We'll give him that.
So, interesting things going on. I'm not personally sure if protest marches accomplish anything, but it certainly sends the message to people that this is not just 3 or 4 troublemakers, that it is millions of people that are not happy right now.
And of course, if you're not aware, you haven't been paying attention, and you see the pictures of there were pictures out here that the government was posting about people destroying police cars and bombing that way, and those pictures were from the George Floyd protests of 4 years ago, and they were not current, but our current government was posting them as fresh and justifying the National Guard.
And
being
they've
put into California.
published violent protests like in Russia and Ukraine and such, and then said they were happening here.
E-game! Hi, Coles! Welcome!
Or
Ferraris-
C-game.
Ah, there! Oh, C-game? Oh,
C-game.
C-game. Oh, yes, Ferrari's very comfortable in corrupt regimes. Yes, he was very comfortable in Rasir, with Rasir's current, government. He was profiting off of it, but he was just as happy when it was gone, because after all, it was bad for trade. It was bad for his business as a legitimate, quote unquote, businessman.
Mm-hmm.
And so therefore, when the Hadavis is gone, he still was able to, he made so much money off of the disaster that had become, he was able to go away on his ever quest to get the Blackbird.
Gandhi misspelled. Gandhi approach more compelling. OSU says nonviolent research is supposedly more effective than violent. Now, in general, violent resistance, nonviolent resistance, is absolutely the way to go, and that is, the processes of electing officials, the courts as a check and balance, and so on. But we're in very abnormal times where all of those things have been manipulated to the point where it's unclear that any of them are actually doing their job.
Wow, that's a cool poster wall hanging behind y'all. Yes, isn't that wonderful? I love that. That was done as a actually.
It was a gift to us when we.
No, the poster, Mr. Cole.
It is a poster, yes. It was a gift to us.
All right,
when we were. Thank you for contradicting me.
It wasn't even a gift.
We were showing at PAX West in Seattle, and was that Bernace or Ferguson?
No,
or?
that was Ferguson. Jim Ferguson.
Jim Ferguson
Printed it. And
Jim Ferguson has a huge scale printer.
Yeah.
And he printed that up for us, and
to have on the wall, but that's done by J.P. Selwood. It's from what I was trying to say is it's a wallpaper that we were giving, and we will give again if you haven't got that one. That was one of my favorite pictures of the hero.
Grab the thing you can't see from the shelf, top shelf.
Which thing?
Top shelf,
There's
right in front of you.
So many.
No, right close to you. No, over here.
What thing?
Right there.
What
Reach the thing you can't see, I said.
Well, tell me what it is, and I will be able to do
on
it.
The top shelf.
Yeah, get
this
the
is,
thing you can't see.
Yes, this is a Jim Ferguson artwork that looks like it's just a print of Quest for Glory 4, Shadows of Darkness, the town of, what's the town called in Mordavia? Is it called Mordavia?
Yeah, it's Mordavia.
I guess it's Mordavia and Mordavia.
And, we didn't bother to separate these names.
And anyway, but that's actually a painting based on the scene.
But the only one.
And he has done a whole series of these.
No, Corey.
What? Oh, there's 2 of them in there. 3 of them, 4.
Ta-da! Yeah, there's all of them. The whole set there.
Is this the Dryad Wood?
The Dryad Wood
from Quest for Glory 5.
And there should be. There we go.
Ah.
This is
Here
the Wages
is
of War
Savannah from the game we are currently playing, Quest for Glory 3 Wages of War, with all of the major locations highlighted.
Yay. That one was, original.
And then here's back to Quest for Glory 2, looking out over a frozen desert at night or something. I don't know why it's white at night.
It's moonlight, Corey, on the mountains.
Moonlight on the sands.
And because we only had, 16 colors when that was made.
We did only have 16 colors.
Yep.
And then here is Quest for Glory 1, based on the VGA version, I think.
That should be the same 1 through 5 set I got as a birthday present from friends.
Well,
that was
an awfully nice birthday present.
Quest for 3 was fun, although 4 was
I'm going to look at this.
Favorite.
I'm going to look at this Quest for Glory 3 and orient myself.
Okay. Well, you could.
Okay, so what we have here is...
We're going to go to the Simbani village.
This side here is... where are we? We're in Tarna.
Tarna, yes.
The town?
Yeah.
The city of Tarna.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have the savannah. There's a beehive in here somewhere. There's a pool of bees. There's something. There's a big tree, major tree, very important tree. There's some jungle over here, and then finally you end up in the lost city.
Just to show how well he remembers the game, yeah.
I do. I remember all those things. I left out the.
But the important thing was Jahari and Hero looking out at this picture. So this picture is not in the game. No, it's an original painting.
That is based on the game.
Yeah.
What was your favorite random encounter from Quest for Glory 3? I don't know. What was all of your favorite encounters from Quest for Glory 3?
Yeah, because I know what ours...
Well, I know what ours is.
I know what they were. They weren't random. They were very non-random, except for the fact that we never knew if you would get them or not. In that sense, it was...
Well, I'm tickled by the Awful Waffle Walker, but the Aardvark, I mean, is,
yeah.
Arnie the Aardvark.
It was supposed to be more of a character. In fact, we found our original story notes that we talked about last time when we played this.
Arnie the Aardvark was a important character in it?
Yes, that they actually, on the map, there was the Aardvark mine. So when we were doing what was then called King's Crown, i.e. immediately after Quest for Glory 4, we were supposed to do Quest for Glory 5, King's Crown. And we took a long, we were working on it all that time until everybody got fired and they broke our contract and things like that. And contracts,
things like that. Jim Ferguson, makingascene.com is where you can get your own copies of this.
If you don't have one, yeah.
On the desktop here.
Yes.
Jim Ferguson, making a scene, all one word, .com.
Yep. And whether you like games or art or whether you like movies.
Some of them are, here's TV or a movie actually, from The Wrath of Khan, Star Trek The Wrath of Khan, and some around
all
here.
Sorts of things, yes. All your favorite movies.
The Knights from The Natural.
Okay. All right.
And
so just pick your favorites.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
So just pick your game.
And there's Sierra Game Prince category.
Yeah. Your favorite movie, your favorite show.
Favorite game.
And your favorite game, whether it's Space Quest or
whether it's Heroes Quest or Quest for Glory, either one.
All right, yes.
Whatever your favorite game is.
Or if you want another map of Shapir, you could get that too, which you're mousing over right now. So
there's
if you're missing your map.
Yeah, if you're missing your map from Quest for Glory 2 for $20, which is probably less than you would pay for the game these days. Well, all right, it's more than you would pay for the collection on GOG.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to have your own map, you can get Jim's version, a wonderful version of it, which includes the the part that actually is the street diagrams.
So yeah.
So lots of cool stuff. Jim's a good guy, and he does great art.
So
the Gold Regions of California from the game Gold Rush, a very early Sierra game that many of you may not be aware of. And I played that as one of my introductions when I first started working there.
And what did you think of it?
I thought it was really well done.
Okay, well.
It's you're a young man who decides to head west in search of
young man, yeah.
wealth and fame and fortune.
And we lived in the gold country when we were living in Oakhurst.
Sierra's official address, although not there. Well, all right, where Ken and Roberta lived in Coarse Gold.
Yes, is just because that was all about the mining era. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Coarse Gold, the assumption is, of course, there's fine gold and coarse gold must be the worthless stuff. But actually, we were told that coarse gold is big chunks of gold as opposed to fine dust.
Yes, fine gold, there was a Fine Gold Creek. Where was that? That was coming through.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, so at any rate.
And Fresno River, people sometimes didn't really have a lot of gold in Fresno River.
No, but there was some. I mean, they had to have somebody come to our house to pan in our little river ranch road on the little river that ran, if we're lucky, 3 months out.
Yeah, maybe 5. Yeah, 3 to 5 months out of the year.
It was 5.
Anyway, so one of the bridge players came by with this gold panning thing, and he actually managed to extract some gold from Arrow Creek. A few little
pieces of
particles.
Dust, yes. So there might have been gold in them in our hills, for what it's worth.
Oh, Snackrifices! We ready to play some games? Oh, these impatient people.
Okay, well, we should be playing games. Laurel and Hardy, the reason we had Laurel and Hardy was twofold. One, we were friends with Richard Aronson, who could do a really good imitation of Laurel, actually, in real life.
I thought Laurel was a tall, thin guy.
I don't know. Hardy. Whichever one it is, I never could get. Stan Laurel and
Stan Laurel was a tall, thin guy.
Oliver
Hardy. That was Richard did, a great Oliver Hardy.
And so, therefore, when we were doing this and needed to come up with something funny for an aside, of course, there is the famous. I don't watch a lot of Laurel and Hardy because I'm not a slapstick person. I don't care for humor that involves either pain or embarrassment. But there were some very funny bits with Laurel and Hardy, and they did one about the Foreign Legion. So it was just very appropriate to have them in the game and have them, lost in the areas. Yes.
Was it Laurel Hardy that met the Frankenstein and the Mummy, or was that someone else?
No, that was Abbott and Costello.
Abbott and Costello. Abbott and Costello. There were some great old films of Abbott and Costello with encounters with various Movieland monsters.
Yeah, that we'll talk more about 4. Where believe me, that was one of the inspirations for Quest for Glory 4.
At Abbott and Costello versus the Mummy, where they set it on fire, was a great screen moment, and Lori and I both remembered that. Well, I checked out that film from the local library one time and ran it through our 8mm projector, and this weird thing happened. There was kind of like a skip in the film, and there was a discontinuity, and it didn't make sense. And later on, a couple of my classmates
that was when he was in school.
This was in high school.
Before I met him, yeah.
This
so
was in high school.
What he was talking about there for a moment.
Long before I met Lori. High school, about 9th grade or so.
Yes.
And a couple of my classmates had made a film which is, how to be safe and what not to do. And in one of the scenes, they had this memorable thing where the 2 kids are playing with fire, and then all of a sudden the whole screen's on fire. And then I realized that, that was the missing clip from the library, as they had literally spliced out that part of the film and put it into their film.
I see. Okay.
Mixed morals. Yukon Trail was fun.
Good.
What was the other, not Yukon Trail, the something trail was the one.
Oregon Trail?
Yeah, Oregon Trail was the one that was one of the most played educational games in the 70s, early 80s.
Yes, that's the one that's notorious.
Notorious for, you have died of dysentery.
Yes. You dissed Terry one too many times, yes. All the memes and things.
So it seems to me. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
I will say we went to the San Diego Fair, which was, down the road from here. And ironically enough, there were 2 places there. One of them was Yosemite sign carving. Yosemite sign carvers.
It was Bass Lake.
From Bass Lake, California, which was, of course, up there by Oakhurst. And we had, at one time, gotten a sign from them when we lived in that area. So it was...
Yeah, we had a sign that said Flying Aardvark Ranch.
Yes.
Actually, we had 2 of them.
We had
the other one was
FAR. Yes, FAR Studios, which was Flying Aardvark Ranch, which was when we did Legend Entertainment's games. We were under the FAR Studios label that we made. And our ranch that we lived in was what we called the Flying Aardvark Ranch. And so it was funny to see the Bass Lake sign carvers there. And there was also the county fair.
Country
Fair. It was county. It is. I keep saying country, but it really is county fair because it's a county fair.
Okay, I really thought it was country fair. But anyway, county fair is cinnamon rolls.
Yes, which used to be parked up in Oakhurst on the off season. Whenever the fair wasn't running, they'd have their trailer parked at the local hardware store parking lot, and you could get it.
You go and buy their cinnamon rolls year round.
Like, oh my gosh, it's hometown city here in the county fair. That's a huge city thing.
Oh, see you later, Seagam. I guess we should have started playing.
Ah, yes.
But of course, Cromwell was one that's demanding that we get to the games.
Okay, well, we will be. Yes.
We will, eventually.
Yes, well, we got it started. Soon. We'll starting it soon. But yes, thank you for showing up. We really appreciate you being here.
Anyway, I wrote a little bit on our Patreon, which I should link, of course. I mentioned the fair and said that's one of our few opportunities to actually get out of the house.
Yes, get some exercises going.
And we have to do that because by nature, we will sit in front of the computer. And of course, if you're a programmer at a place like Sierra, you're chained to your desk 12 hours a day making games.
Yes.
Rick Cavan,
like a king.
Rick Cavan comes around with the bullwhip every once in a while to make sure that nobody has gotten up from their seats.
Yep.
I almost got fired a month into working at Sierra because I didn't yet actually have a Atari ST computer, which is what I was supposed to be working on. I'd just been reading manuals and stuff. And I do thinking by wandering around. So I like to walk around and think about things. And I happened to wander into the vicinity of his office and made a casual comment, "Oh, this is where you hang out." And he glared daggers at me, said, "I don't hang out, I work." And turns out I almost got fired then because why wasn't I at my desk?
Yeah.
So, but Bob Heitman had my boss and head of the programmers there had the same tendencies as I did. So we actually co-designed the rules for the Atari ST interpreter while walking on the roof of the Redwood building in Oakhurst, the original Sierra building.
So
there.
again, to set the scene for what's going on with Quest for Glory 3, is Corey is off in his own world doing the Sega Genesis conversion.
I was doing Sega Genesis CD. I was trying to get King's Quest 6 or something like that on it.
The people that had tried to unionize at Sierra during the era of Quest for Glory 2, and when it was hell to work there, mostly a lot of them went off onto their own company that was also formed by former Sierra people that went on to try to make.
Is that the Jim Heinbachel one?
Yes.
They made a couple of good games, and they also made Man Enough.
Yeah. So they went off on there. So we were in a peaceful period of time in terms of management and direction, mostly laissez-faire. But they had gotten rid of Garuka Singh Khalsa, who had been our
producer on
1 and 2, and they brought in Tammy Dargan, who went on to be the
who did SWAT. She ended up becoming the designer of SWAT.
Yes.
At least on paper.
Yes, and being the big supporter for Gates. And so therefore, it was an in-between period of peace and serenity, or relative peace and serenity at Sierra.
That, by the way, is Daryl Gates, not Bill Gates.
Yes, Daryl Gates, yes, that Gates.
Who was infamous for the actions he had taken during the Rodney King protest.
As the L.A. police chief.
And this all goes full circle because now we have millions of people protesting in L.A. and around the country at the heavy-handed techniques that ICE, Immigration Customs Enforcement, is taking against people. And back then we had the riots after Rodney King was beaten up by police and videotaped by someone who had an early video camera.
Nowadays,
everyone has a video camera in their pocket.
And they should be using it repeatedly, yes. But so, at any rate, that meant that I was doing this game on my own. It was, I had a good team for it because this was not a King's Quest year. So therefore, I had the best artists that Sierra had at the time. And we were at least taking advantage of all the techniques that we had developed over the time of doing Quest for Glory 2. And all of the artwork was hand-painted. The backgrounds were now hand-painted on boards. And some of them even went to Korea and somewhere else overseas. They had a few from another company because there was so much art for our game that they couldn't even do it in-house, even with the 5 painters that they had credited for it.
Now, it should be noticed when Laurie says she did this game all on her own that she did pretty much all of the Quest for Glory games mostly on her own. But I was there for moral or immoral support.
We discussed these things.
Yeah, we talked over all the designs and so on.
Yeah.
But this time she was, responsible for leading a team while I was off in a different part of the building and discouraged from even having anything to do with the Quest for Glory 3 team because A, I was supposed to concentrate on my own stuff, and B, our new producer was in charge.
What type of graphic system did you enjoy working with?
Graphic system.
I don't know, because I didn't work with the graphic system.
Laurie does a lot with Photoshop these days, but we didn't actually do any of the graphics for the games. They were just everything we did was on paper.
One was nice because one was done entirely on computer by people who had been around for a while and knew how to work the computers. Two was terrible because we were trying to change over to do it like Hollywood, and the artists were segregated off in their own world, and it was a mess. It was an absolute disaster for two. And three, finally, things were settling down into reasonable things. So, of course, I like, if a graphic system, you're talking about how the games look and feel, I do prefer the later games to the early pixel games visually and interface wise. But
Yeah, that's a common thing.
it
Is
was easier.
we have basically two classes of fans. Some of whom much prefer the parser interface and getting to come up with phrases and type them in, and others much prefer the point and click. But graphically, the point and click ones simultaneously came along with better graphics, which is not a coincidence, because when Sierra started putting in 256 color VGA graphics, 16 color versus 256 color is only twice the number of pixels. That's 8 bits instead of 4 bits to get to 8 times the number of color, or 4 times the number of colors. No, 16 times the number of colors. But you also had, I think, higher resolution. And anyway, it ended up taking up a vast amount of graphics memory. So where do you get that memory from? You have to buy it somewhere. The computers at the time only had, a lot of them only had like 640K of memory, or, they're measured in megabytes, not gigabytes.
Yes.
And where to get the memory from? And the biggest component of Sierra at that point was the parser, and that was because Pablo Guedes had been brought in by the company as a natural language processing expert, and in between Quest for Glory 1 and 2 had completely revamped and rewritten the processor so that it could understand general English phrases, and in fact, in foreign languages, general foreign language phrases, and not just little simple.
In other words, it was a brilliant piece of early language processing.
It lasted for one game, one year,
and then it was jettisoned because it wouldn't fit
because it was 1/3 of the entire SCI at that point, and they said, okay, well, we get rid of this. And the second reason, I've mentioned this before, but the second reason for getting rid of the parser is that Ken wanted to see if we could start getting our games onto consoles, get them onto the Nintendo and the Sony, and so I don't think we had Xbox at that point.
No.
But and none of those consoles have keyboards, so you can't type stuff in.
So that's why that changed.
So I went to point and click for those two reasons. But yeah, the graphic system did influence the going away from the parser.
But again, all games that at Sierra, the artist, the designer was one part of the game. The other part was the art director, and the art director definitely was the person that drove what the visuals looked like. And in this case, we had Andy Hoyos as our art director, and so therefore we got this fairly realistic style with what we were doing. When we go to Quest for Glory 4 and we go to Shadows of Darkness, our character design is very cartoony, and that's because we had Mark Hudgens as our lead artist for that one, because he really felt that, it's a fantasy game, make things look more fantasy. And then ultimately, when it came to King's Quest 7 with Mark Hudgens in charge, he really pushed that to the Walt Disney, more Don Bluth. It was really after Don Bluth style graphics. And that one met with mixed reactions on the parts of the fans. But it was a beautiful game, you have to admit that, if you like cartoons.
Yeah, so going to the more colors and higher resolution and so on, and better art standards, made the games better, but they cost a lot of memory, and they also cost a lot of team time. You don't, you don't just draw with your tablet a full color game, 16 color game. Okay, you can draw that on the screen. So I'm just looking over here at Moby Games, which is mobygames.com, like Moby Dick the whale, and it's the place to find out everything you want to know about games. But if we go to Heroes Quest, say you want to be a hero, and go to credits, it says 19 people in the credits. That consisted of Laurie Cole, director, writing, dialogue, story, 4 programmers, 4 background scenes, 1 music guy. Interpret and develop system don't actually count. They look like they count, but actually that's generic work that is being done by a separate group in the company. 1 producer, and so on. That was animation and background scenes. So 4 artists and 4 programmers. Then you go up to Quest for Glory 2, Trial by Fire. And now you went from 17 people to 36 people, including 2 designers, Corey and Laurie. Really, she should have been listed first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 programmers, plus a lead programmer, so 8 altogether. 1 lead artist, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 other background and animation artists.
All right, let's look at
So
3 because
we doubled it.
We're talking about 3 now.
So we're up to 3. And now we have our first game that is in VGA 256 color graphics. And we've now gone up to 59 people in the credits. So it's effectively close to doubling for every game. This one had 1 lead programmer and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 other programmers. Interpreter and development system got more names on it.
You didn't get credit for programming.
I did not get credit for programming because...
And you didn't do any of the design.
I did so. I helped to conceptualize the game. But I once again got first billing in the design, which once again is wrong.
Yeah.
Director Lorian Cole, though.
Right.
Writing dialogue story Lorian Cole.
Yes, I know, but I mean that you did.
I participated.
Acting. You got acting credit.
I got an acting credit. There we go. Acting and voiceovers. I played Ottavice.
Yes.
And wait, no, this is 3.
This is.
I played the apothecary. No, I didn't play the apothecary.
You did play the apothecary thing.
No, I think that was
our
programmer. Not Jack.
Yeah.
Where'd he go? I don't see his name.
Oh well. He isn't even listed there, is he?
Am I in the right game? 3.
3.
Huh.
Yeah, that's interesting. The guy that inspired the apothecary isn't even on the list. That's very interesting. At any rate.
So
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 artists for that.
That's about the same as the last game.
10 counting Andy Hoyles.
Yeah. Our director.
Yeah.
And Mark Hudgens as the lead animator wasn't listed separately either.
Oh, okay.
So we had 11 artists.
Wow. Okay.
Robert Ballou doing video capture.
Yes, because this was actually the animation for this was rotoscope, just like the old-time Fleischer cartoons and that, and all of the old Disney. We honestly did have people doing, dressing up, and actually they used that as a model for the movements. That's why it was so photorealistic, or at least it attempted to be, because a lot of the movements were actually photographed, and then in the computer they were colored over to become the characters or used as a base.
And Zwiffer78 says Quest for Glory 3 has my favorite music in the series.
That was Rudy Helms.
Rudy Helm, who is has been doing Christian games lately. We had several very religious people on the teams. Our other favorite animator, was he on this one?
No.
He wasn't on this one.
Jerry's gone at this
Jerry
point.
Moore. Jerry Moore was one of our favorite people at Sierra, and he's done a series of Christian games. So Rudy Helm did the music for this one, with Mark Siebert doing additional music, which is probably most of the theme.
Yes, they probably just gave you credit for the theme because we used it again.
Laurie's favorite is 2 or 4.
Huh? In terms of music?
Music.
I think 4 is.
She really likes 4. I really like 5 with Chance Thomas.
Well, 5 is awesome. I mean, we'll go that.
Total
Yeah.
blowout. I mean,
Yes.
orchestral themes.
Yeah,
And stuff.
but of the classic ones, 4 and had some, stole some great music.
Let's see where we were by.
That's all right. We'll do that when we get to that one.
I'm just curious
All
now.
right.
Shadows of Darkness.
Yes.
It doesn't have the 4 on it, so it takes longer to find.
Yeah, okay, fine.
771 people, so that's only a slight increase.
Yeah.
59 to 71.
Okay, so who's
And then-
5? As long as
And
you're
there
at
was
it.
probably a blowout on 5. 5 had credits 166 people.
Yes. Do you wonder why games got more and more expensive?
So 5 is the one where we went 3D, and suddenly you need huge numbers of people. So on Heroes Quest, it took one artist 1 week to do a scene, including all the backgrounds, all the props, all the animation in the scene, and so on. By the time we went to VGA, it went up to a month per scene, and by the time we were in Quest for Glory 5, it was multiple people over a month to make a scene, and we had more scenes. We had like 150 scenes. So the art team on this one, we have 3 people on character illustration, 3 people on 3D background, 5 people on 3D background modeling and animation, 4 people on background illustrations, another 6 people on 3D character modeling, another 3 people on character modeling and softimage, post-production art.
So, yes, we begin to get up into
And-
the Hollywood.
And because we're going Hollywood, we also have the voice acting list, which
Is the voice acting list
yeah,
on
that's
here?
so that blew up the number of credits.
Okay, yeah.
But even so, we had about 100 people who worked on that game.
Yes, from 3 different companies, but that's a different story again. That's a story for the future. Right now, we are on 3, where Corey's still away, and I'm writing this, and we had a nice little art team in one room, and we had, I didn't talk to the programmers very often. Yes, hello guys, welcome, Henri.
Henri Yoko Kopf.
Okay, yes. Welcome, man.
I don't know if that means
welcome
the
to
same thing as Yoko in English, but probably. And Kopf, of course, is head.
Head, yes.
We all know that.
We all know that from our
Number of apostles grew with each game.
Yes, well, it was so teams.
There was a question here from Zamatra.
Who played the apothecary and
It was John Wentworth.
John Wentworth.
John
yes.
C. Wentworth.
He was actually more on
He was Castle Dr. Brain mixed up fairy tales.
Yes, and at that point,
Mostly on fairy tales.
I think he went off. That's why he wasn't listed on this because. I mean, he went off with his resume that said he had designed.
Well, that was a couple years later.
Yes.
I got a phone call saying, we got this guy John Wentworth who said he was a co-designer or he was the lead programmer on the games. I said, well, no, he did program on it, but he didn't design the game.
Yep. So yes,
so-
but John Wentworth was very much the model for the apothecary, but it was also Hippy Dippy Weatherman, which was who's the Hippy Dippy Weatherman?
I don't know.
You do know who that
I know who he
is.
is, yeah, but I don't know his name.
Yes, you do know him.
I don't know.
Oh, when you come up with...
Was he a famous comedian?
Yes, he's
Oh, okay, yeah. George Carlin?
George Carlin, yes. Modeled after George Carlin's kind of, hippy dippy weatherman, and modeled after, Shaggy and Scooby Doo, those things, that type of thing. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, we had infinite Hall of Mirrors going on there.
Okay, so at any rate, but that's the backstory. That's where we are now. Quest for Glory 3.
So actually, Zamatra's question is very relevant.
Okay, yeah.
Any of the programmers in Quest for Glory games worked on improving the SCI engine. It always felt that Quest for Glory games tend to push the engine to limits with all extra features. Yeah. And actually, my first job was working on the engine. I translated SCI to work on the Atari ST, and then my code was the base for the Macintosh and Amiga versions that came soon after. And Mark Wilden, who did the alleyways in Quest for Glory 2, then went on to the system team after that. We had Larry Scott.
Had been on our team.
Was one of our great technical programmers, and he actually got a patent for the pathfinding system that was added to SCI that allowed you to just click on a place in the screen and that the game would automatically figure out a path to avoid obstacles to walk there.
So yes, they did go on to improve the SCI, but not necessarily just for our games at that point.
Yeah, I mean they were done in general.
We were pushing the envelope every game, but then it could be designed as an overlay. And our message editor was an overlay that facilitated making these things, so verbally huge.
And because I started in the system team and then got onto Heroes Quest, I knew the system inside out, and I extended it because we had an object-oriented system that allowed you to have classes and subclasses and so on. So I made subclasses to handle the stat system and being able to improve your abilities through use, and the combat system and stuff like that was all extensions of the SCI system. But I didn't actually change SCI for that. Mark Wilden, when he did the alleyways, actually broke SCI because he just assumed it was a general purpose class-based system, object-oriented system, as he'd been told, and discovered that you were only allowed to make about 12 classes in the game. And he had made like 50 classes just for the alleyways and blew it out of the water. And so he was responsible for getting the systems programmers to extend that, allow up to 100 classes or something like that.
Was it an A-star?
Was it an A-star algorithm? No. It was a modified A-star. I mean, everything starts with A-star, but it actually was an algorithm that looked at the shapes of the polygons, because if you remember, all of the early SCI games were kind of colored by numbers. The artists would draw the outlines of objects in the screen, and then they would do a flood fill to make some parts red and some magenta and so on.
And that's how the computer treated it, as a flood fill.
And so what this algorithm did is it looked at those polygons and looked at the vertices of the polygons, and then it navigated a path around the vertices. And then it smoothed that out so that rather than jumping to a vertex and jumping to the next vertex and so on, that you would actually walk in a smooth curve around the vertices to your goal. And then probably used A-star as well for efficiency of plotting which of several paths you could take that way. So that was Larry Scott's invention for Sierra, and he and Sierra got a patent for it. Larry had several patents by the time he left Sierra.
Yes, and before he came to Sierra, so I mean, he's a certified genius in terms of that.
And he raised his son, John, to be a certified genius as well. When he was still a toddler, Larry was teaching him, algebra and so on. And by the time he was in junior high, I think, Larry was teaching him calculus and differential equations. So he went on to become, I think, first a math major and then a double physics major.
Nikki Funky says, it's always a comfort to see you two, the two of you. Can't thank you enough for helping to make my favorite games.
No, we're still with you.
Yes.
Not quite dead yet.
Yes, and we'll be happy to, try to make you smile with the stupid things we say.
We are pining for the fjords. But
we are. Okay, well, let's pine some fjords here, because this is not the fjords or anything near it.
And Starscream wants to know, how was Japan? We went just to Tokyo, but we went to 2 different districts in Tokyo. We stayed initially at a luxury hotel paid for by my son. We're too cheap for such things. Called the Shinzanso Hotel, and it had within the grounds. It was basically the hotel itself formed kind of an arc or a U shape, and in the middle was a huge park. which had formerly belonged to a nobleman.
Yes, and it had an old shrine there that had been there for 200 years, and it was very beautifully terraced and things, and you could walk around, and then, in the morning hours, on the hour, they would pump the place full of fog.
Yeah, they had artificial fog that they bumped in so that you could, see this magical fog-shrouded landscape.
Yes, with the shrine on the hill and things
so
like
the big pagoda, and then they had these statues, sculptures of what are they called? They're not gods.
They were spirits and things
but
like
basically,
that.
like the god of luck and so on.
Yes, there were a couple of little minor gods and things like that were real, that had been there, that were
hundreds of years old, yeah.
Hundreds and hundreds of years old, and that's just in the area of this park that's right surrounded by the hotel. And then if we had been there 2 more weeks, they would have had the firefly season. So then they released fireflies
all through.
At the night, you would go out and the whole place would be illuminated in fireflies.
And of course, a lake with koi and so on. It was gorgeous. They had like 5 or 6 restaurants. I think we went to the Omikase one first, where they cooked the food on stones that were lava rock from Mount Fuji.
On your table.
Yeah. And multiple different kinds of fish and all sorts of stuff.
Yes. Cooking was relative because we mostly ate sushi. I mean, it was like, well, so much of that. But yeah. So we had an exciting time. The second hotel was right by a huge park, which didn't look huge when you looked out upon it. It looked like just a lake. And then you realize, there's a zoo back there somewhere. And we got lost there. But other than that, yeah.
Yeah, so the second one was a modern hotel that, from the outside, very boring. Mm-hmm. Just, other than the fact, it's a nice front wall. It was the ampersand here, Tokyo Ueno. And I saw that names with ampersand several places, so I've never quite figured out what they meant.
We're rating!
Oh, we're being rated! Hey, hello, Raid! Welcome! Kirk Dog and friend.
Yes, we will have to actually...
Party of 2.
I see.
Well, party 1.
It's a short raid. Okay, fine. But we appreciate the raid, yes.
Not quite enough for the Mythic Raid. Let's see. Well, we have 29 viewers. We actually have too many for a while, Mythic Raid.
I want to thank you for the Quest for Glory series. I revisit Mordavia every now and then because the atmosphere is so rich and the humor suits me well. So lucky to see you here. Sorry if this is off topic, but it's never off topic.
Never off topic.
Yes. We'll always love to see you play.
Up topic.
They love to see us play. I suppose we should bring up the game.
Well, we will at some point.
We can talk over the game. It's not like it has
I get distracted.
voiceover, I know. We will start the game for you.
So
people.
The 2 things about Tokyo... Obviously, it's a very large, crowded city on, a lot of people on one place on a small island. But it was also filled with parks and greenery and beauty. So our previous trip with Michael was to Guadalajara, Mexico. And the thing we noted there is there were pedestrians everywhere. And all through the evening, all those streets and parks were filled with people strolling around. Tokyo's the same way. People walking everywhere. People taking the trains, and the subway trains were on like every 2 to 5 minutes, and we're still jam-packed.
The train stations were literal malls. And they all had food places. They had grocery stores.
Yeah, the one had like hundreds, maybe 1,000 stores in it.
Yes, and it had there were 10 ramen places there of little stalls that you could get ramen of different varieties for different parts of the country.
And the food court altogether had about 50 restaurants.
And you forget what it's like to live. Well, if you've never lived in a high density location, these places are just, you don't feel like it's that crowded, but they can maintain this ecosystem of thousands of different shops, thousands of different restaurants everywhere.
The one clothing store we went into was unique, and because it was multi-unique, It was a sort of a department store with every department is its own individual store. Like a mall within a store.
Yeah.
And each one had different kinds of clothing and much more variety. So if you went to Penny's or Marshall's or Macy's or any of these stores in the U.S., they're all pretty similar. Some are more upscale than others, but they all have similar clothes. These we had like one school developed to Sailor Moon clothing.
Yes, all Sailor Moon. Ones were all in gothic black and white, and a major number of them were selling
several
petticoat style dresses and little girl dresses that's very
Alice
popular.
in Wonderland, Disney. So there were a lot of cosplay oriented stores. And we saw quite a few people in cosplay type costumes walking around. So
it's just part of the culture.
Yeah.
There. And
people are allowed to dress up and have fun every day.
Yeah. And what was also very popular with those 4-inch boot, the soles are 4 inches to give you some height. I mean.
Oh, and the leather with the spikes, all sorts of stuff.
Everything. So you had everything. It was very exciting. It was
so everything from wedding dresses to leather and spikes and motorcycle gear.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was very, very interesting and fun.
Kurt has not tried Tilly's Tale, but I do intend to play and stream it eventually. Well, let us know because.
Oh, good. Yeah, we'd like to hear what you think about it.
Yeah, it's fast, so.
It's a much quicker game than Road Redemption.
It's easy to do, and we will be eventually getting around to doing it ourselves.
We'll probably actually play it around. Yeah, I was going to say I should play Mixed Up Fairy Tales. Well, that's a really small game. But Road to Redemption is about 20 to 25 hours to play through, whereas Tilly's Tale you can play in a couple hours, I think.
I think you could probably play it faster than...
Whatever. Quickly.
Well, you could play one route through, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, we were trying to get
Lori wanted us to get to a game, and so did
our fans.
Fans a while ago.
Just get to the... Oh, I see.
And it's almost 3 o'clock. We've been yapping for an hour.
Yikes.
So I will go to the desktop.
Uh-huh.
And there I have my Steam and some of the games I
there's
played recently.
Games.
Played Old Skies and Crimson Diamond and Rosewater, and I played Wizardry. I don't think I've streamed that.
No, you haven't streamed that, but we really recommend you play these independent games by people that really love to make games. Really recommending Rosewater and really recommending Old Skies and Crimson Diamond.
Now, once upon a time, I had, I don't have it on Steam, I have it on GOG. I had a game called Heroes of Might and Magic, and I became thoroughly addicted to it to the point where got to play one more turn, and pretty soon it's 3 a.m. And I finally took my entire series of that, put it in a box, labeled it Pure Evil, Do Not Touch, and my friend take it away and put it in his external storage place. But I now have that in GOG, and I played it a couple times and managed not to get re-addicted so far.
Yeah.
But I did play it the other day. Okay, Quest for Glory 1 to 5. I will play. I will say Quest for Glory 3, Wages of War, launch. Here comes the DOS box. There's the Sierra logo.
You have to change the sound, right, and things like that.
At some point. Do you know who did that music? Was that Seabird or Goldman?
That'd be Seabird, because it was...
A very loud Quest for Glory 3 music.
Andy Hoyle's designs there.
And Rudy Helm music.
I do actually like the colors and things like that. That's pretty impressive there. The fanfare will forever be playing in my mind's ear. Okay.
Restore game.
Restore game, yeah.
Wizard, end of day 1, at the end.
Yes.
Restore.
Restore. I like the scarab. I like the art design. I mean, look at the characters and the icons and things. Very nice. It isn't that bad for this.
I don't know.
We had to do that all the time when we were playing 2. I guess it isn't as bad for...
Yeah, this one actually remembered my settings, so it was on like 12. This might be too quiet, actually.
It might be. I think we need to go mid or...
Let us know how the game volume is.
Not that there's any talk, so...
Once we actually get to some stuff. Was it Control D was date and time? No. Might not work in this game.
I don't know.
Do clock. It's day 1. It's getting towards sunset. I think it might be too early to sleep.
Was it? Still day one? My gosh, we did a lot. His room has a view. Yes, it does. It also.
Hi, Tris, or a character's named Tris. Short for Trismegistus.
It's got what looks like a spider plant that hasn't got enough spiders in the window.
It's just a healthy plant. But yes, Lori now collects and maintains succulents, and I let her do pretty much everything on it because, that'd be too much effort. A rounded short table. So I guess we can sit on a cushion, maybe?
No, not here.
Wait, there was one. I'm not used to this interface. Yes, you can sit on a cushion.
You can sit. Oh, what do you know?
But nobody's bringing me food.
Nobody. All those independent games you recommended were made with Adventure Games Studio, yes. Did Tron Solar Games ever think about creating games with AGS? We did think about it.
We considered it, and we thought that we could do a better job.
At the point when we were doing Road to Redemption, it was still pretty primitive, and we did take a look at it, but it wasn't letting us do the things that we were trying to do.
This must be Oliver for the programming team. Amazing what some folks will do to get a good meal. So when we worked massive amounts of overtime at Sierra, usually the company would authorize, or at least the programming manager would authorize us to send out for takeout food from the Pizza Factory or Burger King or McDonald's. We ended up using Burger King mostly rather than McDonald's because McDonald's refused to break out the order into individual receipts. And that is why Lori and I ended up for a while with a Sega Genesis system that we won in a contest for Burger King.
They had change of night, dusk to night while you were talking there. I watched the stars come out in the background, and I've never seen that before. That's pretty cool.
And that was one of the innovations in our games, and it's just something we thought, we're trying to do a simulation of a landscape.
Yeah, but I've never seen it actually happen in real time. Usually
now it's dark in our room, too.
Yeah, we would do this at night. We would do this as you did room changes. We would change the thing or make it darker, yes. Speaking of AGS, did you ever try Heroine's Quest? Yes, we did try Heroine's Quest, which was made with AGS. We did try it. It was really fun. We really liked the other one.
And we discovered it was hard.
Yeah, it was hard.
So I kept dying of exposure, and even when I turned the settings down to make it easy, it was still difficult. And there's a key item in the first town that you need to get that visually I just was not distinguishing from the background.
Yeah, so that was a tough game for us.
So we had to get a hint for that.
Oh, well, but we have to get hints from our own games, both from you, so we're
and
terrible players.
I never made it off the first island.
And what was the other Quest for Glory inspired game that we really recommended?
Quest for Infamy.
Infamy, yes. Surprisingly...
really good game.
A great game. Really, if you played Heroine's Quest, you should play Quest for Infamy, because the quality of the system is great. I still think of the modern games, Rosewater just was an exceptional game. You really should try that one. It's a tour de force by
Francisco Gonzalez. Francisco Gonzalez.
Who actually did the voice for our Tilly's Tale character. And so, yeah, he did a grand job. The two
I have ants crawling all over my desk.
It doesn't matter. I have them too.
Stop eating our desks.
Yes, we do recommend Heroine's Quest. We do recommend
Quest for Infamy.
Quest for Infamy.
We do not recommend Quest for Glory 4.5.
Because we didn't see it. But
no,
we
I
just
did.
know it.
It's terrible.
We did see it. Okay, fine. All right, rest for how long? Let us rest, sleep until morning. Tomorrow's a big day.
And this is completely unlike Lori and me in real life. We usually get to sleep about
good. There
1 or 2 in the morning. Yep.
And you get to see the slow change. There goes the transition.
Here comes the sun.
Yes.
Little darling.
All right. Now we can go down. There's nobody to serve us in this room.
All the same people are sitting at the tables.
No, we can't sit where we were sitting before.
Yeah, we might be able to sit here.
We'll be able to sit
right,
there.
Who's this? Who took my seat? He looks like he's from North Fricana. Well, let's eat first, and then we'll... Oh, I need the other... I'm not used to this coin interface. So I have to keep clicking the right mouse button to change icons. And I always end up on the wrong icon.
For the adventure! Hello, I've
Hey,
been
Wolf.
lurking for...
But wait,
Yes,
first read this.
Why, friends of Paladin and Kings, how best may I serve you? Just don't speak. Let's see. I've been lurking here for a bit while working on another screen, but I wanted to say hi. I'm a big fan of your games, especially the Quest for Glory games. Well, thank you, Wolf. We're glad you're a lurker. We appreciate, you don't have to watch this. You can just lurk and enjoy doing whatever else you're doing, because that's how I generally watch these things.
Ah.
Yeah.
Let's go out, Jenna.
It has been very busy here already. It will be nice to lie down again on a soft bed.
Oh my.
Yes.
Should we flirt?
It is not just the room you warm with your sunshine, O Prince of Passion. Your words inflame my cheeks and other places.
Her pocketbook, because we pay well.
We do.
Ask about the menu.
We have a menu for my own family's recipes today. It is honey goat eyes with almonds and rice. It is one of my favorites.
Goat eyes.
Yes.
So how do you actually order? Any idea?
There was an order on that menu.
Was?
There was.
Anything else?
Ask about.
No, there wasn't.
You have to go back again.
No? Just up level.
Go back and order already. All right, fine. There was an order.
There was an escort.
Maybe if you click on yourself and you can order. I don't know.
Oh, that's it. Order meal.
Yeah.
Order meal.
We'll bring your meal right out. Flirt, flirt, flirt. Yes. Yes, you should flirt.
I did flirt, but I'm not going to flirt over and over because there's different.
She blew you a
she
kiss.
did. She turned around and blew us a kiss.
Oh, fun. See, we play these games
it
a
is
lot.
a
We
fi-
know exactly what's
It is a
going on.
a fine distinction between flirting and harassment, and flirting over and over again definitely gets to the level of harassment.
Here's your feast. May it please you.
Food looks strange, but smells delicious.
You pay the welcome woman for your meal. Be welcome and may you enjoy it. I'm always super careful who I flirted with, depending on who I wanted to end up with. Wise, wise. You enjoy your meal. It was very tasty, even if it was a bit strange. You know, kind
Goat
of an
eyes,
interesting.
huh?
It was an interesting
Think
breakfast.
again.
Goat
Well,
eyes.
let's go.
Goat eyes for breakfast. Yes.
Let's get up and let us talk to this strange person. That ignores you. Well, humph. Let's walk over here and get right in his face and then talk to him. No one's listening. How rude. Oh, this guy. Moffintish. Boy, people not very social here.
Yes.
How about
but
Oliver?
we
We'll
use-
talk to Oliver. He says something like, he doesn't understand your language. He talks to his mouth full.
Yeah, it was Moffint in the last game. Now we're using a slightly different.
Moffintish.
It wasn't Moffintish in the second game. It was more
It was Moffint.
Yeah, and now it's Moffintish because we're using a different variation of Arabic.
There's a resident of Tarna. Let's try to talk to them. They do not understand my language. Want to go to the apothecary?
Why not?
I don't know. I can't remember what we did in day one.
I don't know.
We probably went here.
Probably. Peace.
It's a long life, Prince. Say hello. Oh, hey, good to see you, man.
That music, of course, is a variant off of
Go ask Alice.
Go Ask Alice, yes. The ultimate druggy music from the 70s. White Rabbit.
Ask about plants. Oh, plants are like people. They love to share their hopes, their dreams, their finest feelings with you. Have you hugged a tree today?
As a matter of fact, it was a little bit a while ago.
It was a while ago. Make a purchase. I don't know what I have already. Let's go see what we have. Inventory.
We have spin. We have meat.
What we don't have is healing pills.
No, we don't.
Ask about pills. One pill makes you better. One pill makes you well. And the ones that give you mana are the other ones I sell. Just ask Salim. I'm sure you'll find them swell. Fortunately, no music recognition system will recognize what I just sang. So
Yeah,
therefore, we don't have to worry about
copyright.
copyrights.
And besides, you can hear the music going on in the background.
I don't know how many rows we have, but oh, here we go. We have 177. Let's bargain for some pills. They're 10. Let's try offering 8. How about 9? You got a deal. All right, we get some healing pills for 9. Purchase. Oh, maybe 2 or 3.
Quantity. You want them.
I'm using up big parts of my money.
I see, yeah.
And we are mage, so we probably need some mana pills. We don't need a dispel potion. Cure. We might need a cure. Let's offer 18 for the. You got a deal.
No problem. In your Quest for Glory games, it was always very interesting to see how the seriousness, mostly, of the character's dialogue contrasts with the constant sarcastic overtones of the narrator. Did you come up with that? How did you come up with that concept? The rule is it's got to be amusing. I mean, what we have a lot of text in these games, so usually try to give the narrator some character to it. And we certainly did manage that with 4. Most of the games didn't have a real narrator, but 4 we went off and really used it.
Now, something just went on there with the bargaining system is I was getting about a 10% discount. I could, offer 9 for something that cost 10. I could offer 18 for something that cost 20. Then I got to something that cost 20, and I offered 17. And he said, "Hey, I gotta pay my bills." So then I tried bargaining for 18, and he also said no. The reason for that is that each time you bargain and try to lowball him, he becomes more resistant to the bargaining. And so this was all trying to be a simulation of haggling in a bazaar in this kind of culture. I want to see what they say about Dispel Potion. We can buy a Dispel Potion? Huh.
Try.
That'll cost you money if I do. Let's try bargaining for 28. Okay, apparently we bought a new item. What's a new item?
That's your
Thanks.
right. You pretty much bought everything. This room is groovy. It is a groovy room.
Okay, let's see. Have we saved our game lately? Nope. Over in this other interface. I don't know where I'm going.
Music of Quest for Glory 3 sounded a lot better in my original Sound Blaster than in this emulation. I'm glad, because that sounds a little squeechy.
Groovy room.
Well, flirting with the welcome woman is an amusing tidbit of showing how certain fans can be prudish. There was a persistent assertion for years that flirting with her disqualified a fighter from becoming a paladin in this game, much like how many claimed using the X-ray specs was supposed to disqualify any class from paladinhood in Quest for Glory 2.
Except it didn't.
Yeah, but you're allowed to believe that. I mean, mythology grows up. Yes. So if you lowball him or haggle too hard, he gets annoyed at you and becomes unwilling to give any discount at all? In theory, yes.
Yeah, or less of a discount.
Right.
Yes.
And actually, you start to get your communication skills going up, and you can get a better deal.
Was haggling improving
That was
communication?
yes,
I think so.
yes. That was the whole point.
So this whole game series was based around A, practice makes perfect, and B, feedback loops. So that as you practice climbing, you get better at climbing, but that also makes you stronger.
Right.
If you practice throwing, it helps your strength, your agility, and that eventually all these things add up, and you do better at things. You can now take on more difficult challenges.
Yes, I was able to be a flirtatious paladin, and I used the X-ray specs.
Well, there you go.
You disproved all of those theories. Yes.
Because we didn't actually think there was anything terribly wrong about that.
you're allowed to flirt. We didn't say flirtate. Was, you know, as long as you're just flirting.
I'm trying to click on this hookah.
Oh, you're trying to get the hookah.
I
Okay.
can't get the angle. Again.
You have to do it before you sit down.
No, they said I have to be sitting down.
Okay.
Something else. Ask about his dream we've asked about. There's gotta be some way to interact with this hookah, and I can't figure it
I
out.
thought it was, you could, you're standing right in front of it, so I can't figure out how the interface goes.
Maybe the pipe at the end. You've wandered into what looks like a 60s head shop, only more organic. There are plants everywhere along with mellow vibes and a generally cosmic and freaky atmosphere. So there was a parody of a traditional English song by Grit Laskin from the coffee house. Was the Fiddler? I think it was the Fiddler's Green Coffee House in Toronto. And he wrote a song called Cosmic and Freaky. And there's a traditional song where, and the lark sang melodious at the dawning of the day. And his version of it was cosmic and freaky on one midsummer's day. So I incorporated that into here. So you just never know what the sources are of these
Right.
things.
We have a lot of different weird references. We just conglomerate all of the things.
Nothing happens. We try to smoke the unlit pipe. There we go. Do we have a tinderbox?
Did Oriana have a 60s too? Not yet. Sorry. It never left. No, we don't have a tinderbox. We need to get one.
I guess so. Ask for a light.
Bud Light.
So when we were helping out with the Bolt Riley / Bob Marley game, at one point, they were having trouble with the intro, and I had a dream one night and turned that into a proposal for their intro, which I thought was just way too silly for them. They said, "Oh yeah, that's it, man," where you're at a concert, and at one point, Bob Marley is looking to smoke some weed because he was famous for the ganja, and says, "Got a light?" And that leads to the inspiration of light. And the game was about used inspiration as a currency. And it was just a really silly thing, but so the...
Yeah, well, that wasn't what
Somebody
actually
tell me
goes
what's
into
here.
the game, though, at that
So
point.
who might sell us a tinderbox? This guy has bottles of honey. Maybe these guys will have it. Talk to man.
Hello, young man. You look like you could use some of our mostly new items.
Oh, those items aren't new. You know that.
I didn't say they were new, dummy. I said they were mostly new. In a world of sales, you've got to learn to accentuate the positive.
I just also saw him. In other words, lie?
I didn't say that. You want to blow this sale? Just you listen and keep your mouth shut. Sorry,
Oh,
Ian.
okay, go
We
ahead.
have the finest selection of mostly new items in the land of Toronto. What can I sell you? So yes, these are based off of the television show Sanford and Son. The relationship between the two, the father and the son, were always very contentious. And honestly, yes, I thought you were calling it mostly new. Will you get out of here and let me handle this, dummy?
All right, buy junk goods.
Tinderbox. There you go.
Tinderbox for 200 copy, because that's the only useful thing here. Let's bargain and offer him 190. 100. Yeah, 185. Okay, it's a deal. I think this.
What do you mean it's okay? You want to lose all our money, dummy? I'm coming, Elizabeth. I'm coming soon. Our only son is trying to give away all the things we worked for. This is it. It's the big one. That was notorious.
Oh, Pop. So, I now have 185 coppers for. I don't know what the conversion is. Probably 100 coppers for oil.
Always welcome back. Yes. All All right, believe it or not, the first virus I got on my computer was the junkie virus, and it looks the same way using the tinderbox when smoking there. Okay. Should we cheat on this screen?
Cheat? No, you should never cheat, Merchant. We don't really care about weapons. We're a wizard.
Yeah. For those unaware, this is the one screen in the game where bargaining doesn't properly reset, so you can get everything down to one common royal by repetition. Yes, you too can.
Well, if you can, but they'll get upset if you bargain too low, with one exception.
Well, yeah.
And that is Calb the meat merchant will let you bargain him down to, I think, nothing, or certainly down to 1 copper.
Well, 1 copper, I think, is the minimum. Yes, it's 100 commons to the royal.
Ah.
Okay.
That's a common currency system. Royally executed. Alright, so now I've gotten the most important thing in the world, a tinderbox.
So you can light the hookah.
So I can light the hookah.
I see.
Will this just make the game mature? Will I have to give it a mature rating?
I don't know. I don't think it's very mature to do this.
It's definitely
immature.
comical.
Yes, okay.
Welcome, welcome.
Cobb
So
will
good to see you.
indeed drop straight to 1 common, but even he requires at least some compensation, yes. You should save the game before you do this.
Oh, I should.
Okay.
Not that way. This way.
That way, yeah.
Groovy room. Cosmic and freaky.
Time to light at least 2 up. Yes, indeed.
Do. Where's my tin? There it is.
That's gotta be it, because it's nothing else.
So it's just the graphics on here. Probably you guys can probably see it better on the smaller version of it.
You can't make that out?
I couldn't tell that was part of the hookah. I
Oh.
thought it was part of this curtain.
No, it's not. It looks like it's part of his head. This is not well laid out.
You suddenly feel a little strange. Very dizzy. Little guitar riff there. Woo!
You can't talk to him.
All right, say goodbye.
You're not going to light up it again?
All right, you want me to light it up
Yes,
again?
we've saved.
All right, fine. We'll smoke some more. Oh, wow. That's like Cosmic Man. I like that guitar riff. You spend the next couple of years sleeping alleyways and eating out of garbage cans. All toked up. Then you die a burned out drug addict.
Important safety trip there.
I can get that music over and over again by saying, see
Yay.
the message.
Okay.
But I just happened to have saved by pure coincidence just
Yes,
before that.
Saved straight to Skid Row. Psychedelic.
Now there's a pile of books. Some of the titles are Zen and the Art of Mystical Maintenance. Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance was the one. Out of Fricana, an Astral Travel Guide. That would be Out of Africa. I don't remember what the subtitle
There
was.
wasn't one, yeah.
The Om and I, like the King and I, and Deja Vu and You.
Yes.
I don't think that's based on anything.
No, that's just your
I
right.
also see books entitled The Reincarnation Elation, The Straight Dope, A 60s Survival Manual, and Plant Parenthood, Proper Propagation and Practical Pollination.
Yes. It's certainly one of the more interesting death screens in this series. Well, the theory was here, it's part of our theory, is that we want the player to be able to test these things out and try things out, even when it's a dumb thing to do. But everything should have a proper response.
Now, normally back in the day I would have walked everywhere, but it does take a while, and after playing World of Warcraft, you learn that you never put the game in walk mode except when you're RP walking, they call it.
Good day, young prince. I hope your experiences with the Council of Judgment did not upset you.
Should I say something? Greet. You greet Grisha.
You will always be welcome in our house, young hero.
Especially
I
when I'm...
hate
She
the
has a book.
staging of this room. This is awful. certainly glad when I got more control over these games. See, this wouldn't happen.
You wanted to put her in the exact center.
I wouldn't have put her in the center, but I would also move the hero to the right position to actually.
Oh, when he talks, yeah.
When he talks to her. All right. Ask about magic. Ask her.
What about council, where she just mentioned?
All right, fine. As you can tell, this Council of Judgment consists solely of female Lorientars. This is because it is assumed males are too emotional to make rationalized decisions.
We got the male king.
Well, yeah, but he's the king. He's not,
Ask about
important.
magic.
Most people have a saying, curiosity
My people.
haunts a human. It certainly seems true in your case. Very well, if you wish to learn more about magic, you and I shall perform a ritual together. This ritual is that of the magic staff.
Boy, good thing we asked about that.
Yes.
Say yes. No. Ask about staff.
A magic staff is both a container and an amplifier of a magic user's spells. It is a thing of magic and does not really exist in this world, so the wizard must summon the magic staff for each use. This is called trying to so we don't have Hero walking around with a stupid staff in his hand all the time. It's really an excuse, and we've used that excuse in every game since then.
In Hero U, we had the trouble. There's all kinds of clothing and outfits you can get, but we can't actually show it on the 3D character, so we just have a dress-up doll page.
Yes, but also the fact that things like the staff only appear when you need them to appear.
And they'd get in your way if you were trying to pick something up and so on.
Yes.
So better to make them, abstract.
Yes. One of the more interesting things I learned about how this game is coded was when I tried to hack in Summon Staff for a non-wizard. This game doesn't actually let you do that without actually performing the ritual. The spell fails.
Ah.
Really cool. Good to know. You never know.
Properly
how this is
programmed.
Yeah. The ritual to create your magic staff shall take place here in my ritual chamber. However, before you can perform the ceremony, you must first return with some magical wood.
Oh, I have some magical wood for you.
I don't think that works somehow. Oh.
Was that the ritual? Yeah.
Yeah.
Something else.
Doesn't give you a question about magical wood. Most Liontars would rather die than be considered without honor. Rakesh tends to pledge his honor to bring peace.
Intends to.
If the war does occur, he can never again enter Tarna.
So there are stakes to having integrity.
As Rakesh would say, I do not know if there can be peace in Tarna. I only know that I must try to create peace in Tarna.
The hero's backpack must be magical as well. Yes. Absolutely. This is the ongoing joke in Sierra games. Leisure Suit Larry explicitly made it up, and all the LucasArts games and so on. All the adventure games, you're picking up anything that isn't nailed down, and some that are, and putting it away somewhere. Well, where is it? Well, you can't show it in the game, so it's just an abstract inventory. And Leisure Suit Larry 2, when I was playtesting that, doing the Atari ST stuff, there's a scene where you go into the Quickie Mart and you can buy a grotesque gulp drink, which is a play on 7-Eleven has a gargantuan, great gulp or something like that. And this one is like a 16-gallon drink or something like that. And the game shows you folding up the drink and putting it in your pocket.
Yes. You have to hack in the magic wood instead. Then when you next enter this room, the ritual scene automatically fires. I presume it overrides everything else, and the spell works from that point on. Interesting.
It overrides things so well that when this was being developed, or am I confused about the other one?
Yeah,
I think this was one of the ones where we brought you back to the scene with the intention the ritual would happen, but the programmer that originally wrote the scene did not know that this later thing was going to happen, and so it gave you the original visit stuff rather than the.
There were several places where that took place there. Quest for Glory 4 is similarly coded. Summon staff won't work until you get Arana's staff. It literally says you're too far from it, where your original staff was created for the summoning to work until then. Okay. And Mr. Toro Diablo says, "Hello, Coles. Hope you're doing well. We are. Welcome, Toro, to our talks." Quest for Glory 5, however, works without issue.
Oh, this is important.
Spell. Remember that Rakesh will be making the Pledge of Peace before the Council. Should you choose to explore the Savannah, please stay within a day's journey of Tarna.
Ooh. Wonder how you do that.
Yeah, see, we've clearly got a bag of holding.
I don't know actually how to get out to Tarna. I've only found the marketplace.
All right.
Does anyone know the way out of town?
Well, try going down to the marketplace. The only way is to go to the marketplace.
Right over here.
Yeah, try that. We haven't wandered over there yet. But I suspect it's down. You need to run
I got
around.
changed.
You
I
got
got changed.
changed to a nice
Yeah, when I went in the room.
stroll. Oh, there it is.
That is the way out.
That is the way out.
And you don't even remember your own game.
I don't remember the map now. Oh well.
Let's talk to a guard. Mafimpt-ish. Ask about gate. The gates are always open except in times of emergency. We guards are here to maintain the safety of the city. What about an emergency? In my memory, there have only been 2 times the gates were closed. Probably if I asked him the previous one, the city. Tarna is the center of trade between all beings in this region. Our bazaar is filled with people and items from all over.
He's nice to talk about too.
Yeah, ask about the bazaar. The bazaar is down the stairs to the western garden. You will find it. He's right, we did. Ask about guard. Guards of the city are all proven warriors. Something else? Did I ask about Tarna? Tarna is both the name of the city and of our kingdom. We're under the rule of Raja Satarna. It's about city, king, Raja, kingdom. Our kingdom extends from the mountains to the north and west, to the cliffs of the world's edge, to the south, and the sands of the Azure Sea to the east. That's pretty big. Name? Oh, let's ask his name. I am Sharaka Simrash. Sim means son of the clan, the language of our people. Right. Say goodbye. It is good to see you go, yet better to see you come back. Ah, very polite. Ooh, some music. So how's the music volume, everyone? Is that good, or is it too loud, too quiet?
That should be an autosave. Yeah, that was that pause.
Oh, it is. It says automatic
Yes,
save.
I know.
But I'll save it too.
Right.
Because there might be another autosave over it.
There it is. Can you go to the water?
You were looking at the Tarna vicinity map that came with your famous explorer's correspondence course guide to East Organa. A glacier hiccuped here, leaving behind a pile of giant hill-sized rocks. Did you write that? Maybe. This is one of the many small tributaries that feed the Mukobwa River. What about this tree? I can't. The tree is just framing. That's a very interesting looking rock formation. Well, let's walk over to the interesting looking rock.
Not to depend on autosaves. They'll eventually get overridden.
Exactly. Oh, we're in trouble. Cast. No, that isn't how I cast. It looks big.
Because your magic is a star, colored star.
I know. For the run.
That
didn't
was
make it.
No. Cast a spell.
Well, I could have. The mouse is working. I think it is winning. Oh, that was from the cast spell. This is the zap. For combat. Energy points and health are both going down. Run away. some more. I believe it doesn't matter which direction you run. It's you need to get off of this close-up Savannah screen in order to be entirely out of combat. Oh, I know what I could do. I could go in my inventory and poison cure, healing, and mana pills. Let's use a healing pill. How do I do that on myself? Nothing much happens. Feels good. I'm at it. Let's use a mana pill.
What's a mana?
That's mana.
Oh, what's that cover?
You feel a surge of power. And we'll attempt to cast, but it's probably too late because we're too close. That wasn't the right spellbook anyway. The battle's about to begin.
No, you didn't get much.
Oh yeah, I did not get much healing or mana.
You can't possibly do this.
Well, he was still hurt, wasn't he?
Yes, he was, but not as hurt as you were. Now go into magic and dazzle him or something like that.
Oh.
Don't forget about the bug. To escape, you'll need to increase character run screen in settings. Otherwise, you'll always just be out of reach but never escape. Thank you, Krona. I did not know that. The auto save.
Calmer Dazzle. Probably.
Dazzle, I think. Okay, now run away.
Ah, the monster
And
froze.
it says
when
you
I did
need. Did you hear what I said?
that. No, I have to.
You have to speed up your run speed with the controls. Speed. Says to escape, you need to. Yes, increase the run speed.
My God!
Oh my God!
You got away this time. That's a ridiculously fast.
We
That's
did not know.
cartoonishly fast.
That was.
Oh, it did slow us down to a reasonably normal speed.
That was a surprise. I think we better go back. We have to go back, Corey. We're not supposed to spend the night. What a turbo boost. Ridiculous. You don't want to be late, Sonny.
Your meeting tomorrow. You head for your room so you'll be well rested.
Ah, they didn't let you,
As soon
miss
as you
this
get near
meeting.
town.
Okay, well that was fun. That was pretty stupid. Yes, this game forces that one, thankfully. Yeah, it says you don't want to
There's
miss
a zip
this.
in the first game.
No,
You awaken as the sun begins to rise. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I always worry with these games because stuff is.
you get up
so,
in time for your
Yeah.
meeting. I'm reading what's up
All right,
there
fine.
before it loses.
And quickly
it.
head to that Hall of Judgment.
Okay, fine. Now you can yak.
Is that because stuff is critical and it's all event oriented? If you miss an event,
2
could be
months
it.
ago, the Symbani requested that we aid them in the war against the Leopardmen. Go to the next one.
Yep.
It was the decision of this council to send emissaries to the Leopardmen to determine their grievances.
Should be leopard people.
It wasn't. It was Leopardmen. Peace mission was ambushed at night by creatures or beings unknown.
But it shouldn't be leopard men. Because
Yeah.
that's what we do.
Evidence
And the account of the sole survivor of the ambush, Khatib Mukarram, indicate the leopard man. Or is that a woman too?
Yeah,
Is that
they're
women?
all women.
Oh, okay, fine. A warrior of Tarna, Vishaka Darkrisha,
Just keep your voice the same.
was discovered missing from the bodies of the emissaries.
So she has a low voice. She's a lion tar. They all have low voices.
Signs and scent indicate some sort of struggle, and then all trace of Vishaka was lost. Magic must have been involved, clearly. Vishaka Darkrisha is presumed to be dead, or else a prisoner of the Leopard Man. It is our duty to seek revenge upon the Leopard Man for those who are lost. I read too fast.
Well, for her, yeah. And this is nicely.
I'm ready to be clicked off.
The lion tars have no business involving themselves with the deeds of human. The peace mission should never have occurred. It is the duty of all those in Tarna to care for her people, and the humans are as much the people of Tarna as is the lion tars.
The warriors of Tarna desire revenge, and the right to gain honor through battle.
That's yours.
There is no honor in war, warrior of Tarna. There's only death.
Give Rakesh a better voice.
Okay, well, I had a better voice from him previously.
My magic indicates that there are signs of demonic activity. If demons are involved, it is they who are the enemy, not the leopard men.
Council of Judgment, I, Rakesh Satarna, stand before you. Is that better?
No.
I swear by my honor to prevent the war and to bring peace to all Tarna.
Rakesh Satarna has sworn by his honor to bring peace to Tarna. If he fails, he shall be deemed honorless and shall be banished from Tarna forever. Just repeat. Do you, Prince of Shapir, also swear by your honor to bring peace?
Yikes! What else am I here for? I'm going to swear the oath, because what else am I here for?
The council will respect the honor of Rakesh Satarna and allow him time to fulfill his oath. King Raja orders Rakesh and the Prince of Shapir to meet with him in his chambers immediately.
That soon? Not soon? Raja Satarna, I stand before you. Rakesh Satarna, you stand before me in honor.
Okay.
We better speak.
Greet, Corey.
Greet. You tell Raja that you stand before him. You stand before me in honor, human. I haven't got a voice for him. Rakesh, are you so besotted by humans you pledge your honor for them? What in the name of Sekhmet do you think you are doing? I have always pledged my honor to save lives, my lord. You, human, do you understand what it means to pledge honor? Talk about honor. You tell Raja the meaning of honor. When I want a lecture upon honor from you, I will ask for it, human. You did ask him, Raja, after all. When I want your comments, Rakesh, I shall ask for them. Rakesh, you and I have disagreed on many things, but I've always cared for you as my brother. I care greatly for you, Raja, and respect you as well. However, if I feel that Tarna must go to war, it shall go to war. Even if I must strip you of all honor, Rakesh, Tarna will go to war. I only request that you wait until my friend here and I have done all we can to prevent this war. I will wait, but do not take too long. If the Simbani march against the Leopard Men, I intend that Tarna shall aid them. You, Herman, you got anything further to say? What about Rakesh? Tell about Rakesh. You tell Raja that Rakesh is a paladin and thus knows what honor is. Rakesh, does this human fight your battles for you also? He defeated the Earth Elemental in Shapir, and I could not, my lord. You have indeed grown old, Rakesh, that the humans must fight for you. A lion tar lets the hyena pick his bones rather than ask you help for a human. I am a paladin first, and then a lion tar, Raja. Rakesh, I cannot understand why you risk your honor and your life for humans. You could stay here in Tarna as my advisor and lead my armies as a commander. To risk everything for peace is beyond my understanding. This is an old argument between us, Raja's mother's son. Must we fight in front of my friend? Human, leave us now.
So we can fight.
Clearly.
Further, yeah. Okay.
You now leave to meet Rakesh again outside the city gates.
Ah, there you go.
And this little tiny figures are horrible.
Yeah,
that is what they call a blob. Okay, it feels very good to be back in the homeland, my friend. This is the savannah, the high grasslands that teem with animals.
Yeah, it's like there's about 20 pixels involved in making Rakesh there.
There are few animals which will bother a traveler here. The zebras and the other herd animals will avoid you. Even the tigers will seek other prey. Can we pause? Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so
Now you can yak.
there were a half a dozen things I wanted to yak about
Uh-huh.
during the course of that. And okay, so one is the concept of the blob. That is actually an entire category of games these days, are blob games. And that is ones where you have a party of several people, usually 4 or 5 characters, but they're represented as a blob moving across the screen, as an icon that represents the entire party, until you get into combat or something, and then it goes into close up and you see all the individual characters. And for the purposes of 2 people walking in the map, that was a lot simpler.
Well, this one didn't use the blob system. There was a distinct hero and a distinct Rakish.
Yeah, but they're still just icons, rather. You know, they're not.
They're trying to get. You can see there's a head. There's a pixel for the middle. You can see the heroes.
But they're terrible.
They're
Resolution
terrible.
isn't high enough.
Yes, they're still terrible. But that was an attempt. It was a good attempt.
Now, what some games have done, we probably should have done here, is use outsized figures. Like 10 times their actual size of the map. But what we're trying to do here is give the idea the savannah is huge.
Yeah, we wanted to give you a sense of perspective, and
That
you
it's
don't get it if your huge character is moving across the screen, because it's going to be unofficial no matter how you do it.
Here's the current big skip for speedrunners.
Oh.
If you want to speedrun this game, you simply need to increase the speed while running. OSU says you can force the game to give you control when the screen transitions from this to the next. Do that properly and then walk past the Simbani village, and you effectively cause the game to think you're not walking with Rakish, but with a certain endgame character, meaning you walk straight to the endgame characters.
Ah, okay.
Well, that sounds like a bug.
It does, doesn't it?
Meanwhile, going back,
Yes.
somebody said, I have a question. Was it you guys or someone else on the team who enjoys all the shirtless lion men?
Oh,
Someone else on the team.
Yeah, that was purely Andy Hoyos' art direction. He wanted to do...
He wanted to be Boris Vallejo.
No! Nobody likes Boris Vallejo,
Oh, okay.
who's artistic.
Well, we want everybody to be...
Frazetta!
Oh, Frank Frazetta, excuse me.
We're trying to do Frank Frazetta here. No, I mean, Mark Hutchins, huge fan of Frank Frazetta. Actually,
And
met
Frazetta
him.
is very appropriate to the theme of the game, too.
Yeah, and Frazetta works. So we've got, that scene with the Liontar females prostrate around the Raja. That's all pure Frazetta, imitation type style. It's a tribute to Frazetta, but it is not necessarily our taste.
We're big Michael Whalen fans.
Right. I do see that the male lions don't normally bother to wear clothes. There is no reason to really do it except to have some gesture of clothing because they're around
To
humans.
give the idea that
They're around humans.
that they're civilized, but
yes,
they
they're
don't
civilized.
care. They don't care.
Exactly. It's a civilization sort of behavior, yes. How do you design clothes for a centaur? Generally, most centaurs just do the torso, the human torso, and not bother with the body. Although it made sense to have armor, if you're trying to go to war.
If you're going to war, so,
Yes.
maybe if we'd actually had a war scene, maybe we'd have them in armor.
Swiffer says the story about the demon hurting Rakish's leg was initiated in Quest for Glory 2. Was the demon originally planned to appear in Shadows of Darkness?
No, that was that was Lori basically trying to. I should let you answer.
It's a backstory. Yeah. It's basically backstory. It's an excuse. It explains why Rakish doesn't do this, and Hero has to do it. So we had to have a reason.
He's injured. Yeah, because he's a paladin, but he's
right. He's a worthless paladin. He doesn't do anything except tell you
injured.
what to do. So the whole point is, how do you justify behavior? And it's part of the design system to say, I want this to be reasonable. I want it so that,
I want things to make sense.
that it
I want the
makes
player to
sense.
say, I have to do this. I'm the only one who can.
I'm the only one that can. And so Rakish had to be injured, so he couldn't do it. And the idea that it's a wound that won't heal, so you don't try to heal him and, all is good now. Just give him a healing potion and ta-da!
Yep.
So I have to find a way that it doesn't heal. All of these things are... You want to go get a drink while you
I do want to,
Well,
yeah.
Go ahead.
It also, of course, goes back to reference to the Fisher King from Christian mythology.
Well, from the Grail mythology.
Yeah, the Grail mythology.
Grail mythology.
Which is Christian.
Well, it is. all of these things are part of game design. Justify a decision you make. And so therefore, okay, so demon magic clearly is not easily healable. And so now, just by having that gave the point of what are we doing for this game? Because remember, this game was totally incorporated into the series at the last possible moment, so to speak, and that basically was not from the intention of this game. So therefore, I had to take what we had written in the past, i.e., okay, we want it to follow Rakeesh and see a Rakesh's family. We want to make sure that there's, this demon idea needs to be important because it gave us a villain for this one. So all of this is how to justify and how to improvise over things that happen, because a lot of my game design is all about improvisation. And what was the rule of improvisation? It's yes and. That you take whatever was said before and you elaborate and go on with it. And so, yeah, I learned that from watching Lucifer. If you've ever watched Lucifer. At any rate, so that's how I design games, and that is why there was things. Was there ever voice acting recorded for this game? No, it was never never on the main line to go to DVD.
Never even a glimmer.
Never even a glimmer. It was not on. Was not one of the biggies.
But back to the meta, why write the story this particular way? Why not have Rakeesh do things for the hero? I should have made you one too.
That's all right. I can speak.
The meta on this is that the player must always be the star. That's rule number one in this type of a game, is that the player is the hero and the player has to have agency, or at least the illusion of agency, and be in charge of his own fate and the fate of the game. So if you have the NPCs start doing everything for you, it's less compelling.
And it's like, what was I going to say about that? Because I got sidetracked. No, actually, I was going to elaborate on what you were just saying. The player must have agency and that. Oh, well. That's what I got.
So the player is the star.
The player must be the star.
And
and we sort of decided when we did Hero U, Road to Redemption, we decided that the player doesn't always have to be a star. And the player has to choose to be the star in Road to Redemption, because you're
a rogue, not necessarily a hero.
Right, and therefore, if you do not do an event, one of the other characters in the game will do it instead. And that affects how your game goes.
Yeah, that goes into pacing and storyline, because one of the problems with when you're writing a movie, you have control over everything, and you decide what scenes happen where, how you lead into the what's going to happen later in the story, and so on. When you're playing a game, players are notorious anarchists and will go off and do whatever they feel like if you let them, and that can really give you a poor narrative. And we want to have an interesting narrative, but we also want the player to feel in charge.
Right.
It's a constant conflict. So that thing that happened out in the savannah is, first of all, we got a hint from talking to Krisha that we needed to stay near town. And second is, when we got back near town, we automated it to make the player come in. So the player couldn't screw around and say, oh, that's okay, I'll just blow off that meeting.
Right, yes.
We're not going to allow that.
There are certain things that have to occur in the game, or else the whole game falls apart. You have to control the player and keep him constrained to at least follow somewhat along the storyline.
Yeah, if you don't understand this relationship between Rakeesh and his brother, then a lot of later stuff in the game doesn't make sense.
But also, it sets the events in motion. It says what the stakes are, at least initially, and what you are doing. So, there have been complaints This one, I think that they were lost because they didn't know what they were supposed to do. But I think that this clearly shows what you're working for and gave you direction in the beginning. So, oh well, so much things. I know what you mean. I finished my own adventure game engine in C++. You have to love finding bugs for that.
There are always bugs. Any non-trivial piece of code has bugs.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter whether it's still being developed or whether it's been released. There's always bugs.
And Brainiac says, I feel like this game is the best for showing that Rakesh may not be the main character, but he's still important. We get a lot about his backstory, and he basically leads a charge when your backup arrives in the endgame. Yes, he is not just a passive character. There are things going on. You feel like things are happening around you with other characters. It isn't just what you do. It's a world.
The other problem, or issue with an adventure game and player agency is we are trying to tell a story, and we want you to feel involved in that story. But rule number one in films and books is you never just tell a story. You illustrate the story. You use action to develop the ideas that you're trying to get across in the story. So those scenes with the council are really a little bit weak because as a player, you're sitting there and you're reading stuff. We don't have voices to liven up, which we would certainly want to have done. You're just reading text on a screen. But by making them different colors, first of all, we make it clearer that it's different people who are speaking. And Laurie tries to keep it short so that you'll get the story without, feeling like you've just, read a full chapter of a book before you go on to the next action.
Yes.
Show, don't tell, as Belichar says. Rule number one in screenwriting.
Yeah. Brainiac says, by comparison, Quest for Glory 2 is almost entirely mentor status, and Quest for Glory 5 has him getting incapacitated quite quickly.
I guess it means Rakesh is just a mentor.
Yes. Possibly even die if you're not careful. Yes. Yeah.
Spoiler! Oh.
Spoiler alert, yeah, really. Well, we won't, we can find that out, but yes. The trick is that, yes.
So very important when we do our playthrough Quest for Glory 5, we'll have to let Rakesh die. And then play
Let
out the
them all
entire
die.
rest of the game and find out how it plays out from there.
Yeah.
I think that's allowed.
Yes, it is. You can win the game even if you let people die around you. It's the whole point. Leaving town can just...
Two.
Okay. Well, you could just leave it one. I mean, nobody knows. All right. 99 noted bugs in the code. 99 bugs in the code. Take one down, patch it around. 3,197 noted bugs in the code. Yeah. Show, don't tell. Yes.
Actually, most of them aren't noted. They're never discovered.
It is allowed. I think that's one of the few things I haven't actually done yet. Yes. I have a hard time play testing my own games when it comes to things
Because you care about your characters.
I do. And when I'm writing these characters, I don't like, well, I do. I don't mind, killing characters off because I know that that's an alternate reality that most players will not experience, honestly. Or if they will, they restore the game and try and save,
So we had some complaints about Quest for Glory 2 that, was too linear, with the fire elementals happening in the set order and so on. And so we tried to make this game very open-ended and a real role-playing game rather than an adventure game. The player has a choice where to go. But if you wandered into the right place, like what would have happened if I had not wandered into that room and had the meeting and learned about the magic staff from Krisha? I mean, what if I had waited 2 weeks before getting to that?
You still don't need that information yet. You'll go back and find out. I mean,
Yep.
It sets it up.
Anyway, so it's important that be done properly. So, at a point, I don't remember. Okay. So yeah, we wanted this one very a huge feeling. You've got the entire savannah and jungle there. You can wander around, you can go places and discover things. But we also wanted you to find the important things. And we then found out that we started getting criticism from some of the reviewers that said, "Oh, this is a game of too open-ended. I didn't know where to go. No sense of direction." And so, Quest for Glory 4, we had to, it's always
it's
a
delicate
challenge.
balance. We're always trying to react to what was said and try to keep going.
Last Express, an excellent game for that sort of thing. It's quite meticulously plotted for events happening simultaneously, so you can't see everything in a single playthrough. That's what Roberta was trying to do with.
Fantaz?
No,
Laura Bow, the
with
original.
with the Colonel's Bequest.
Yeah.
Is that there would be basically NPCs in every room of the game playing out their roles, and that you could wander through the rooms and then spy on various people, but you would miss stuff. You would inevitably have to miss something. So today, fear of missing out, people get really mad if they feel like they missed anything. However, there are things that are not quite animals. They have little fear of humans and may attack. The field guide to Eastern Fracana will help you, so study it well. I will be using my skills as a paladin to avoid danger. In other words, read the effing manual.
Yes.
As a paladin becomes more in tune with the essential rightness of the universe, this was this concept we got from somewhere or other that we decided to be our hallmark of paladin.
Yes, yeah.
Gains certain new abilities, such as healing. The more good one does, the more good things one can do.
And remember, if you're a paladin, you're learning how to be a paladin then.
I have been a paladin for a long time now, ever since the demons last invaded this land. We must prevent this war between people and drive any demons back to the world from which they came. Can I talk to him? Nope. Yep.
Paladin sense danger is spidey sense, let's be honest. Yes, it is.
It is, absolutely. I must warn you about the Simbani, my friend. They are very brave warriors and honorable friends, but they greatly dislike, even fear, the use of magic.
Yeah,
You're really screwed here as a wizard. Why do we play a wizard? It is getting dark. This looks like a good place to camp for the night. It is always best to have a campfire at night. It drives off many things. If you don't yet own a tinderbox, ha! Thanks to Salim, we have one. I would advise you to purchase one and return to Tarna. Rakesh starts a fire and you share some food he brought with him. Then you both lie down to sleep. Probably like, raw lions. No, cow steak.
I think lion tigers eat a lot of food, yes.
It's getting brighter. Good
There's
morning.
also Orion Burger, which is heavily time triggered, but I could never finish that game.
Good morning, my friend. Let's continue our journey to the Simbani village.
Let's see how you.
There's it would be best if you do not mention your skills at magic or cast any spells within the walls of the village, just in case you weren't listening to the previous conversation.
Oh, you have to go around.
Here's
that.
the Pool of Peace. We have to go around this knife hills. I think that part of the reason they dislike the Leopard Man and seek this war is because the Leopard Men use magic. Aha! We must meet the Leopard Men. The Leopard Men respect users' magic. Perhaps you could gain their trust with your skills and help convince them of the serious consequences of this senseless war. And if I had a control, if I didn't have a scarab here, I could go look at the Pool of Peace.
Yes.
The Simbani have been friends and allies of my people for a long time, but I've not dealt with the Leopard Men before this. They are strangers. And I like the way they had the smaller version of this on the map. Habori Mizei Goje. Mazori, Lion Man Rakesh, it is good to see you. It is good to see you, Mangoje. I have here a friend and brave warrior from afar to see the wonders of your village. Slight exaggeration, not a lie. Habari Buana. Greet. You say hello to the elder. Missouri Buana. Behold, the village of the Simbani, from the pen where the injured cattle stay, the huts where we sleep, and the palaces where we work and play. Enter and be welcome. Work and play?
The places, you said palaces, yes.
Oh, the places. We are most honored, Mizei Mangoje, to enter your village. Kwaheri. Kwaheri, Siba Rakesh? Kwaheri, Buana?
There's complicated greetings and there's simple greetings. I went with simple greetings because, it's like case and gender and things like that I did not wish
Oh,
for.
I should have tried a flame dart on that.
Yeah. Ujambo, Wabwana.
Hatu Jumbo, Hora.
That's the formal ones. Ujamba, see?
Jumbo Simba. Talking to the baby.
Yeah.
You both look happy and healthy and happy to be home again.
It is good to be home. I will always be happy to show you both the way of Simbani.
We are honored.
Come then, we will meet with the leader of the Simbani, the Laibon.
The question is this too much story in
Ubari Laibon Mukumba.
Nakubwa? Missouri, warrior Hora.
Laibon, I, Uhura, warrior of the Simbani, be standing before you with 2 warriors from far lands.
Bari, warriors. That's formality. Missouri Sana, Laibon Nakubwa. It is good to see you again, great leader of the Simbani people. It is good to see you, warrior Rakish. Laibon, I have come here to bring peace to your people and the Leopard Man. I have sworn this by my honor. Missouri, warrior. Rakish says Missouri a lot. Bring the Leopard Man chief to his knees before me, and you shall have the peace you pledge. What has caused this great anger for the Leopard Men, Laibon Nakubwa? The Leopard Men have always been our enemies. They be sneaky and not to be trusted, for they only travel at night. The worst of all be that they use magic. The Leopard Man is the enemy. If the Simbani be seeking a lost calf in the jungle at night, then the Leopard Man uses magic against him. A Simbani cannot fight magic, so he must retreat. The Leopard Man will not meet the Simbani in a fair fight. The Leopard Men will always be our enemies, and now they have made us call for war. They stole from us the Spear of Death, and for that they shall die. If we can defeat them without the Spear of Death, then they will no longer be our enemy.
There are ways to resolve the conflicts between the Simbani and the Leopard Men other than through waging war.
Yeah, how about a nice game of Awari? We would like to see you, Laibon of the Simbani and the chief of the Leopard Men, speak your grievances before the Hall of Judgment in Tarna. Perhaps there can yet be a peaceful resolution of conflict. No, Rakish! The Spear of Death is stolen, and we will fight to regain our pride. The worth of the spear will be paid in blood, not words. I have spoken, Qua Herini, their proud leader.
Qua Harry, Laibon.
Farewell, Laibon of the Simbani. May we yet again, may we yet meet again in peace. You all walk back to Hora's hut to rest and discuss things. Before evening. It is good to be back in your own hut again, is it not, Uhura?
Good, very good. A Simba well worth leaving my home for.
Laibon, there's a whole story behind that Lori is thankful for. Laibon was most gracious to see us, and I felt as though we were not welcome. I do not understand, for I have always respected him. How did we offend him, Uhura?
I do not knowing, Rakish. The Simbani have lost much honor with the stealing of the Spear of Death. Still, for the Laibon, not to listen to your words of peace be not right.
Perhaps he will listen another time.
It is time we be sitting too much. Maybe we go out to the village. The villagers will be waiting.
We just walked
to see
here
you
for
again, Rakish.
dozens of
They will
kilometers.
be killing a young bullock in your honor, and the blood will be very fresh.
The Simbani celebrate your arrival with meat, milk, and dancing. It is late when you finally make it back to your hut. We were treated royally by the Simbani. That was meat for the Laibon's own herd. I will head back to Tarna at first light. Find out what you can about what is going on. I do not think the Laibon told us everything he knows. If you can find the Spear of Death, we may be able to convince the Laibon that war is unnecessary. Good luck. I suggested first you seek some magic wood. Ooh, Grisha wishes to teach you the magic staff spell, but you must have the magic word to do so. I think you will need all the magic you can get in order to restore the peace in this land. Ask about Liban. I think the Liban told us only what he wanted us to know about this war. When you've earned his trust, perhaps he will tell you more. War? I do not understand why the Leopard Men would want to fight the Symbani. Ask about Leopard Men. The Leopard Men usually stay in the jungles. They're only out at night. The Symbani, on the other hand, stay in the savannah and hunt only by day. There's little interaction between the tribes. That the Leopard Men would suddenly start a war not only with the Symbani, but with my people as well, is something beyond my belief. Going at the jungle. The jungle is just to the east of here. The Leopard Men have their village hidden there somewhere. It is said to be protected by magic, as opposed to between magic. Ask about magic. Grisha believes that the spell in the Leopard Men village prevents outsiders from even seeing the village. It is said that no one can see what a Leopard Man does not want one to see.
I wonder if the lion men count as hexapods. Technically, yeah. Well, you know, if you count the hands as feet. Let's see. Yep, same with the centaurs and the pegasi and the griffins, yes. On a semi-related light, aren't the Chernovi technically decapods? Well, the Chernovi aren't decapods. They just have decapod heads.
They were once human.
Yes. They're designed off that, you know, the mind flayers off of D&D, which was
This is the fire which lights and heats the interior. Extra objects you don't want to carry in this large chest. Except I'm not sure how well that worked. It certainly hasn't worked in most of our other games.
Well, we didn't do it for this one on the grounds that you could not have the things you need, and so therefore,
Right.
we basically I had wanted us to be able to have a cabinet in our bedroom in Hero U, Road to Redemption, but basically I was talked out of it.
As with that Leisure Suit Larry event, you know, game designers have always seen, you know, it's ridiculous you can carry all this stuff.
Yeah.
But there isn't a good way around it if you're having a game that is based on items.
And we saw, playing through Quest for Glory 1 and 2, that you were running the risk of carrying too much weight for your ability, you know, and so therefore it was painful and not good gameplay. And one of the things we were jettisoning in terms of game design as we went along were things that interfered with the player's ability to have fun. So walking around slowly because you had too many rocks in your pocket because you picked up every rock you could possibly have to throw was not a fun game mechanic.
So is this Lady Meta Knight or Lady Meta Knight? Maybe it's a Meta Knight.
Oh,
Anyway, has a feeling that the Mind Flayer was the main inspiration
Yes,
of Shinobi.
yes.
Definitely an inspiration.
it was definitely, I mean, visually, not much with what the mythology and the story, the mind flayers were in the games, which eventually became more interesting as Spelljammer games came out.
Savannah is very beautiful, but can be very dangerous as well. Take care as you travel. Dangerous? On the savannah, the places of safety are far apart. Do not travel too far from them before you know what you are doing. Speaking of which, character sheet. Our health is full. That night's sleep recovered us.
Yes. And our intelligence is up.
Yes, you'll
Our
notice all these numbers in
vitality-
red. I would have had them in red and green, like green for improved and red for went down, but we mostly just figure they go up.
They're
so.
going to go up, yeah.
So our intelligence, vitality, and magic have improved. Our communication, honor have improved.
Yep.
Because we, said the right things to the Raja and so on. I don't know what magic we did. Well, we fought that
we
monster.
fought that monster and did
Oh, yeah,
not
we did.
die.
Amazing.
Because somebody told us how to get away from him, which was pretty unbelievable. Ask about Lionhead.
My Leopardman, did I do that
No,
before?
you didn't. Yeah.
It doesn't say much. I thought I asked about the Leopardman, that's how I got to the rest
Okay,
of
fine,
that.
I don't know.
Let me
we're
usually
fine.
stay
Yeah,
with
you
generals.
did.
Yeah, we know
Okay,
all about
fine,
that. Okay. Flop.
fine. Okay.
Flop. Flop. Trust. Thus it bothers me, thus, like he was continuing the previous
Yeah.
thing, that the Liban did not speak freely with us. It is not like the Sabani to keep secrets.
Against their culture.
The only magic that the Sabani will accept is that of healing. Talk about day. You talk about the events of the day. It was indeed an exciting day today, young hero.
All of those may not mean much in terms of what you think. But really, it's adding on to your communication skills in that. So it does actually, it is significant when you do these things.
Ask about Uhura in case you hadn't played Quest for Glory 2. Uhura will be glad to help you in any way she can, but she cannot go against the will of the Liban. Ask about Will. The main stat for Paladins. Uhura is a warrior and she has sworn to obey the Liban. Ask about Warrior. Uhura proved herself worthy of the title of Warrior during an initiation ceremony some time back. The reason she traveled to Shapir was to retain her status as warrior. Ask about status. She wished to have a child, but a wife cannot be a warrior. She now has Simba, and no man here can claim her. She remains a warrior.
That was pretty much made up.
Found a way to get around the rules.
Yeah.
Ask about Simba. I have no doubt that Simba will be a fine warrior like his mother someday. Well, I think originally it was just the idea that you had a woman warrior running the Adventurers Guild in
Well, but
Shapir,
to have a baby,
and that it would be cool to have a baby. Like
well,
me.
it was to give her a backstory and a life. There was
And
reasons
character,
to everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
Initiation. To prove that one is a warrior, one must undergo a series of trials, testing one's skills. This would, of course, be extremely important if we were a warrior, because
Right.
we would have to go through that. Through initiation, one becomes welcomed as a respected adult in this tribe. Trials? The trials vary each time. They're designed to test both physical skills and cunning. Trials can be done alone or in competition.
Yeah, I have to say this is absolutely the best game for the warrior. It's not so great for the. It's terrible for the thief, really, and it's terrible.
And for me, it's one of my favorite games because it is the one game that I didn't do any of the writing on, and so I got to play it and discover all this stuff.
What are you talking about? Getting so many rocks, you overflow your weight, and suddenly you don't have to worry about being over encumbered is great gameplay. That opinion brought to you by Glitch Hunters the world over. Yes,
I see.
Exactly. It's also immersive.
What are your plans? As I said, I will go back to Tarna and find out if Krisha has learned anything more about demons, and whether she still misses me. Learn what you can learn from the Sympani, and try to keep them from starting this war. Return to Tarna whenever you need to do so.
The wizard at least has a shaman duel, yes, and the rogue gets to steal back the spears and things like that. So he does get his game, but...
Till I know for certain that demons are again released into Tarna, I need to stay near my brother. That's interesting. Ask about Raja. Raja still believes that war is honorable. He will be trying to convince the council to declare war upon the Leopard Men. Unless I am in Tarna, Raja may succeed in starting this war.
Kings can start wars.
And besides, he maybe wants to get his brother kicked out. Ask about honor. With Symbani, the essence of honor is trust. They're very open people and share evenly with all members of the tribe. The Liontars, honor is a matter of pride in obeying the laws of Tarna. To the Paladin, honor is doing whatever it takes to bring about the greatest good for all. And pride, Paladin, trust. We care about anything more?
No,
Too many questions. And to the wizard, say good night. Good night, my friend. Bop. Falls asleep considerably faster than I do. You awaken as the sun begins to rise. Definitely not our schedule. Actually, no, I take that back. I always awaken when the sun begins to rise. Get up for a while, go back to bed, and then 10 o'clock or so I get up. Rakesh left the hide at first light. Remember? Something
Vaguely remember saying
hearing his farewell.
Yes.
Maybe this is the shield. An ornate shield firmly attached to the wall. Super skinned.
Firmly attached.
Try to straighten out the shield, but it's too firmly attached. Super fur feels very soft against your hand. Oh, should I put my hand on the fire? Ow! It's hot! You warm your hands by the fire. It's good to have a large empty jar. Now this is some of the things. Lori is really mostly focused on the characters and the dialogue and the story. So often has other people, such as me or other team members, write the incidental messages. But they're important to filling out. This is the guard for the Libon's hut. That's Uhura's hut. Campfire. Should I cast a fire spell on it?
I don't think so.
Let's see what happens. No, it's not a spellcasting interface.
That's dark.
It would not be a good idea to use magic in the Simbani village.
Yeah, well.
Talk to the guard. In a week or so. It's 4:20 already because we spent too much time talking. The guard says, Nisamhe Sefahamu Wana. That's we always objected to accents that are clearly wrong. There's some anime films that have, Old West, Charles Bronson kind of voices for the characters. It's like, that doesn't feel right for these characters. Maybe I should knock. Not a good time to visit Uhura's hut. How if I talk to the hut? Doesn't say much.
I've never used the chest.
Great.
Yeah.
You're called a greeting and asked to enter. You get no response. You guess you should come back some other time. Well, let's see what else is in the village. Oh, I could have used my flint to light the campfire. The bridge between the two platforms consists of rough-hewn planks supported by a pair of wooden poles. Knotted ropes give access to each end of the bridge. But I clicked to this one, not that one.
Habari, hero of Shapir, this be the place where the Simbani practice balance and judgment. This is the wrestling bridge. The last part of the initiation contests are here.
No, held here.
Held here.
Ooh, like your outfit. Wolf whistle. Ask about the bridge.
Two warriors be standing on the bridge and they facing each other. They each be trying to make the other lose his balance. The skill of balancing important, but so too be judging the right moves to counter your opponent and knock him off. This be a tough competition and requires much practice.
And therefore totally unfair for a stranger visitor. Ask about contest.
When several young Simanis wish to be warriors at the same time, then they compete with each other to be initiated. The winner will get the prize of his asking if the Libon thinks he is worthy.
Enough already. Let's see, can we climb this? Go to the bridge? Yeah.
Yeah, well, even as a wizard, we're strong enough to...
I mean, we are a hero.
Uh-huh. Not that. Good at it yet.
Try again. Okay. Character sheet. Our agility has gone up. Our communication's gone up. Our climbing skill is 0. And one of our rules for the game is if your skill is 0, it will never go up. So
This actually took me a while the first time I played. Kept doing the hand over hand instead of climbing across the bridge. Gravity loves the hero.
ah yes. Welcome, Prince of Shapir. Uhura be telling us that you soon here. I am. His name? Yusufu. You see some sort of game carved into the rock. Cage for holding prisoners. This, of course, by the Chekhov's gun rule means because there is a cage, that at some point it must have a prisoner. Otherwise, we would not have shown it. The rocky terrain in this area is more suitable for game playing than gardening. Hello. Maybe I should
That's
have greeted
enough
you first.
time for a game of Awari. Well, it depends on how well we play.
Ask about game. This is the game of Awari. I will be happy to show you how it is played. The side near me be my side. The hole on the end at your left be my home. The hole on the end at your right be your home. 3 stones be put in all the other holes. We be taking turns moving stones from one hole to another. You move first. Pick a hole in your side and move all the stones to the right. Up 1 stone in each hole. If the last stone land in your home, then you get 1 more turn. Last stone land in an empty hole, you capture all the stones across from it. You get to put them all in the capturing stone in your home. The game ends when either side have no more stones. Only home have stones. The player with the most stones in his home be the winner. The other player be the loser. You're playing just for fun because you have no cows. I let you play the first stones. Oh my god, the stakes of this are heavy.
I've never remembered how to play this.
I play from here and we make 3. Now you go again because my last stone landing in there. I want to land in here, so I'm going to do this.
You remember how to play this game.
I listened to him. Very good move. You got my stones. It be my move. So I have 5 stones so far. It be your turn to move your stones now.
What kind of man has no cows? A very poor one, clearly. There is no cow level.
Okay, I will move these here. And I go again, so now I can move from here. I carefully figured out that if I moved here first, I would have had too many. So apparently you don't get multiple extra moves. Your turn to move your stones now. 4 stones in there. Be my move. I'd be capturing some of your stones now. So we want to never allow him to have... Oh, there's a hole opposite my many. I've put a stone in there, so he can't put 1 stone in there. He can't get there anyway. I don't know what the rule is if I end up in an empty space against his side. I believe I cannot move his. This is Yusufu's side. You cannot remove stones from here unless you win them. Very good move. You got my stones. It'd be my move. Your turn. Move your stones now. You now go again. Well, he's going to capture this stone and then the game will be over. My move. I'd be capturing some of your stones now. Now this game is over. You have more stones in your home than I have in mine. You be the winner. Hey, I'm a fast learner.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
You play a good game. Maybe we play again?
Oh boy, that was close.
It was a close game.
No, you won't play again because it's almost time to...
Maybe then we play again some other time. I will introduce myself. Talk about... Oh, greet. Let's start with that. Should have done this first, of course. Missouri, Princess Shapir. Ah, he has heard of me.
Well, everybody's heard about you.
Talk about Shapir. You tell Yusufu about your adventures in Shapir. I have a problem with this mouth cursor because the hotspot is not where I think it should be. So, the man behind all bad things in Shapir was a wizard. All users' magic be bad. I don't have a chance to correct him on that. Ask about magic, maybe? Games, money. Cage. This be a special cage. This be built to hold leopard men prisoners. No magic can affect it when cast upon it. That way, the leopard man prisoner cannot use magic to escape.
First time chat. Ah,
Welcome, first time chatter, Dead Anthony.
yes. What's your favorite Arana's Garden? I like the one in this game.
Yeah, the pull piece here is really nice.
Clearly in the first game it had the most use. And it was, best, but
Is this a DOSBox simulation or Scum VM? I think it is DOSBox. The Sabania roving people. This is only our home for this season. Usually we'll move soon to another village where our cattle can graze on fresher pastures. This year, though, we'll be staying here until we win the war against the Leopard Man and regain our Spear of Death. Tibet the Spear. The Spear of Death was stolen by night. There was not a trace of the thief. Must have been a hero.
that's why we know it was a leopardman who stole it. They used their magic to steal it. Spielberg and Mordavia respectively.
Ask about war. We will fight the Leopard Man and we will win back our Spear of Death. Soon I will be a warrior and fight in this war. And Leopard Men were sneaky people living in the jungle. Stinky, sneaky people. We have always stayed away from them before. Now that they store us for death, they are our enemy. That's about it.
Music does a lot for me. Okay, I'm glad you like this. It wasn't my favorite music of the series.
Say goodbye.
Slipper says, when I was studying, one of my roommates was in Africa, I don't remember which country, and took the Zawari game with her, carved from a piece of wood. I was then able to explain the rules to her because I knew them from Quest for Glory 3, yeah.
Yay!
Yeah, well, a lot of people learned my Nine-Man Morris, or whatever it was, from Camelot, and other games like that, which is good. I mean,
This is an obvious target.
that is an
It's a
obvious throwing spear.
Let us steal a throwing spear. Maybe it's the Spear of Death accidentally got put here. I should examine them all.
Tie between 3 and 4 for me. I'm glad you like 4. Yeah. This be the place where the Simbani practice.
I like the
throwing
choreography
spears.
in this, as you can look around,
No
spend as much
Simbani
time as you
warrior
want.
have a sword. Since you cannot very well throw a sword in battle. Yeah. So yes.
And when I finally clicked on an object, that's when Uhura walks in and explains it. So I like that pacing.
Yeah, it gives you a chance to play around. To hit the target with your spear, it takes both strength and throwing skill. You can build up your strength through practice, but you will be needing to use your brains to improve your throwing skill.
Yay, I have those.
You will need to be using your head to judge things as how high to throw the spear so that it falls to the target and how much strength to be using. Once you figure those things out, you will need to learn to adjust for the wind and throw a little bit ahead of a moving target. All it takes is a good deal of practice to master spear throwing.
It all takes.
Wow.
Alright, let's try this. Oop. Let's get the single spear, probably. Do. Same. Slightly above the center.
Oh, yeah, but okay.
Oh, appears you could use some more practice, like a lot more. Boop. Mostly because I have no throwing skill.
Yeah, no throwing skill.
So we will never get good at this.
No.
But I have to be polite and say goodbye.
I love the one in Mordavia, but I loved everything there. Yeah, good. I liked the dreams of the paladin when you know.
Oh, at the Arana spear.
Arana spear, yeah, and things like
Arana
that.
staff, rather.
Yes. I think as your strength increases, so does the ballistic coefficient of the spears. Perhaps so. You also had that flag waving, and that tells you which way the wind is going that you have to compensate for. So, if you were actually playing this as a warrior or who has some throwing skill, or a rogue, you could do it as a rogue.
I couldn't use my tinderbox.
They don't bother lighting it in the daytime.
Okay, so I have no idea what to do here now.
Okay, so we can save the game and say goodnight. That's what you can do here.
With the Laban is good enough.
Fine, yeah. Alright, that was a good introduction to the village. Not a lot here to do, no. If you're a rogue.
Or a wizard.
Or a wizard. But yes. Do they light it at sunset? Yes, they do. And you will find that it's
As
lit.
the strength increases, so does the ballistic coefficient of the spears.
Yes.
I didn't know there was such a thing.
Well, now you know. You learn something every day, Chauncey.
Patrick's Parrot Box. That must have been a free one I got from somewhere.
All right. So, at any rate, thank you all for showing
Hey,
up.
we could play Indiana Jones sometime.
We could. I mean, who wouldn't want to play it? Thanks for another enjoyable stream. Thank you very much.
We'll be
for
back
joining us.
in 2 weeks,
Yes,
which will be the
indeed.
28th of June.
Oh, I'm glad you know that. Is that what it is?
I can add 14 to 14 and get 28.
Ah,
Advanced mathematics.
my gosh.
Still love the stained glass art used for the collection
I
startup.
did too. That was very nice.
Terry Robinson.
Yeah. Well, the collection started. Thank you, everyone, for the fun times here. We're so glad to have you. We're glad you showed up. We hope you enjoyed it. And yes, 28, the perfect number. First is 6.
And
Yes.
remember,
Yes.
as you see that Raja as a king is too anxious to start a war, don't allow any kings.
Don't trust the kings if you're living in a country that doesn't have checks and balances. Anyway, see you next time.
Nighty night.